All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick. And, Sanjin Boychuk, thanks for the great intro, outro song there. You can find him, Sanjin Boychuk, everywhere. And today's guest is Mrs. Frost and I. We're coming at you from where the magic happens and why we're in the mess that we're in called parenthood.
Yes.
What's going on?
We wanted to have a Father's Day episode, right? We talked about doing it a while ago. We were going to do a Mother's Day one, and Mother's Day was really busy.
Yeah, we got really busy.
So we're also really busy right now, but
we're in the middle of moving.
We have time to do an episode.
Yeah, we're in the middle of moving. That's why, no pictures of our bed, no bed frame, nothing going on here. So it's kind of interesting, we're moving and pretty excited for the move to Edmonton.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Yes.
I'm excited.
I'm stressed, but...
Why are you so stressed?
There's just a lot to be done.
Father's love. We do everything.
You do some stuff, yeah.
So what's happening with you? What's new with you?
With me?
Yeah.
We're moving to Edmonton.
And that's all that's on your mind right
now? Currently, yes, moving to Edmonton.
Okay.
We're busy doing that. So, yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm just, we got evacuated from Edson. That's my second time I've been evacuated this summer, so I'm actually home.
So we did plan this to be a long distance interview. We talked about doing it as a long distance thing, but luckily, well, not so luckily, you got to be home for a couple days and spend some time with the family and do some stuff.
Yeah, it's good that way, and at least I get to be home and help you out a little bit, and I'm so excited for that. I had no other plans at all.
No other plan.
No other way to spend my time, I guess.
So we had our 5-year-old today. Penelope had a party that she's had planned for quite a while.
Yeah.
But you got to be home for it today.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I made a lot of jokes and stuff like that, but I was really excited to be there and watch it happen. Yes. It was, her first party. I guess she's hosted.
Well, she had her birthday party, but her birthday party, we let her hand out the invitations.
Yeah.
And when she got home from school that day, we said, who did you hand your invitations to? And she told us the neighbor that we already handed the invitation to. And then she threw the rest in the garbage, she said. So she only had a couple very small, low-key kids at her birthday party. There was people there, though.
Yeah, and, it was very small. There wasn't a lot of people there, but hey, whatever. She threw a lot of them out. So maybe trying to invite the garbage men. Who knows?
Maybe,
but
she is your daughter.
Yeah, no, it was quite interesting to be there and watch it. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna handle having 5 little girls running to my house, but it was kind of cool, and watching them, how they make slime and watching them take turns doing things, and they actually got along really well. There wasn't any screaming.
Pippa / me picked a group of 3 of her friends. She would love to invite the whole class, and I'm sure come tomorrow when she goes back to school, she'll be trying to invite more people to her next one. But it's not happening as of yet.
Yeah.
But we kind of fine-tuned who we were going to invite, just, in general, we know certain kids' personalities, and you can see, who she plays with at school, and yeah, so that's how we did that. Because we did pick a really good group of 3. But then we also had our youngest daughter.
Aurora.
Yes.
She's a wild child. It's a wild card.
She's a wild card. She did okay.
She did really good, though.
Yeah.
There was minimal crying with her.
Minimal, yes.
Minimal. She's like, I want that. I want that. And all the older girls did really well accepting her in as well, there wasn't any. There was a couple times where it was kind of ooh, that's gonna be a dicey situation. But for 5-year-olds, they're really well behaved, and they know how to use their words. Hey, please don't touch me without asking. Please. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty good. And Aurora immediately was like, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
can I touch you now? No. Okay, and then carry on.
Go to the next kid.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was really interesting to watching them all kind of work together and have fun and even talk about how much of a great time they had.
Yes.
We made pizza too.
Yeah, she had a slime and pizza party, or pizza and slime party,
Yeah.
where we made our own pizza. We cooked it in the oven. They like did the sauce, did the cheese, did the toppings, put it in the oven. They ate it, and it was great. It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was nice that you got to be there and witness it, just because you don't normally get to witness like birthday parties and other things like that. I've taken them to a lot of birthday parties, but you haven't got to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wasn't sure, right? But then, Casey was getting the pizza and stuff like that together, and I wasn't sure if I was just gonna sit there, but then I immediately just started jumping in and helping because, like, hey,
Yes.
that's what I'm home for.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's what I do when I'm home. It's like, hey, I gotta help. Right?
Yes.
And this one was like, okay, this is no different. Okay, gotta grab the cups, gotta grab drinks if they want them, gotta grab the pizza, set out all the stuff. Hey, what can I do with the slime? You need the glue now. You need this. Cool, right? And it was interesting. I wasn't sure if I should make plans to do something else or not, but
no,
it was great. It was interesting.
The evolution of you, watching you evolve as a father, has been so interesting. Now, you were so for a long time you didn't want to be a father, right? You were very much set on no kids. We were gonna have no kids, and I was like, yeah, right. But like, I just played along with it. But like,
you're a mastermind.
Yeah. I always knew that we were gonna have kids. I've always said that we would have at least 2 daughters. I've always said that to you because I wanted my kids to have sisters.
Yeah.
I wanted a daughter, and I wanted her to have a sister.
Well, maybe this is your fault then.
Yeah, maybe. But like, we've always talked about that. We've always wanted, and then we'll have another one hopefully soon. But at first you didn't want to be a father, and I think for you that stems from your dad talking about not how he didn't, as a father, didn't want to be a father.
Yeah, that was mind blowing. Listening to him say like 15 years, not even 15, like to a 7-year-old girl, like, oh, I never wanted you.
Younger than 7, because like that's when I came around and I heard it, and I was like, hey, red flag. But like, I mean, I'm sure you heard it younger than that.
Oh yeah, she was pretty young when. Well, first of all, he didn't even want her when my stepmom was pregnant with her.
Yes.
Like they left.
So you're talking about your youngest sister that he said.
Yeah, the youngest. Yeah. So, like he kicked her out.
He kicked your stepmom out.
He kicked my stepmom out when she was pregnant with my youngest sister, and it was like, I don't want kids. I don't want any more kids.
Yes.
Right? Like that's not in the cards for me no more. And he was about my age. It was a little older than that. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, not much.
Yeah.
And I remember her leaving, and then I don't know if she said, hey, I'm gonna take you for everything or not, but like she came back in, but like he never really got over the fact that he didn't want kids and any more kids, and was never afraid to shy away from letting her know that, hey, like, I didn't want you. Yes. Right? Like I love you, but I didn't want you. And always said, like, always made those jokes like, hey, you owe me rent. You owe me the world.
To you and your other sisters that weren't just the younger sisters.
Yeah. Like, you owe me the world, basically. And you know what? Like, sure. But like, you don't tell your kids that when they're younger. And you don't tell them that at all. Like, you don't even joke around about it, I think, especially to like a 7-year-old.
So for me, like, I think that we chose to have the children. So we're responsible for their choices, right?
And that's one thing, right? Because you have PCOS, and we have to try really hard to have kids. Yeah. So, like, even when they're growing up, they're always going to know, like, hey, we had to try.
Yeah.
Like, we went to doctors.
Yep.
We went, you took special medications, and you had procedures done.
Yep.
And, like, hey, you know what? Like, any kid we have from kid 1 to, like, insert number here. 4. And then, whatever.
Oh, are we going for another?
Oh, maybe 5.
Are
Who
we
knows?
doing 5 now?
Maybe we'll have 4 drills.
We handled 5 today pretty easy.
We handled 5 today pretty good. We rocked the shit out of that. Like,
so maybe you can
it
do
was
it.
so good. Maybe, but
We're
they
gonna-
weren't ours. We got to send them away.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how that goes, I guess.
Yeah, I think we'll probably settle on. It depends a lot on the next one, but I think for you, I think like watching your dad. Oh, I have
Are
to
they
go.
waking up?
I think they heard me talking about them.
Oh, that's one's coughing.
One's coughing.
It's Pippa.
It's Rory. She'll just go back to sleep. So I think in
My dad.
no, I was just listening for the kids. So I think in watching your dad evolve as a father, like your dad, how like when you guys were younger, he did so much for you guys. Like when you were really young, like he told. So I don't know. You don't have a lot of memories of that. What he told us was like he would follow your oldest sister, younger sister for you, but the oldest of the sisters. You have 3 sisters, all younger.
Yeah.
The oldest one. He would like follow her around and like go in the garden and stuff like that. So like I remember him telling us those kind of
That
stories.
stuff happened.
And and then it kind of ended when your mom and him left.
Yeah.
Your mom and your sisters left.
So I think, my dad has bipolar, right?
Yeah.
And that's been diagnosed.
Yes.
And I think, that gets worse with each passing, like, big life-changing event.
Yeah.
And for my dad's dad dying was probably, like, one of the biggest events that kind of sort of triggered that.
Yes.
And then only just a couple short years later, him and my mom split up.
Mhm.
So, like, that's another
And
beat
in
down,
between
right?
that, you had done a move to a different city that you weren't
In a
familiar
different part of the province.
in a different part of the province. His mom also had died.
Yeah.
Your mom left. He had 2 kids after his parents died.
Yeah. And they
Right,
never
back
got
to
to
back.
meet his kids, right? And
Yeah.
that would be tough.
And they did back-to-back kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He had 3 kids after.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
those 2 are back-to-back, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Chantal and Monica were back-to-back. We can say their names. It's
yeah.
fine.
Whatever.
Chantal and Monica are back-to-back. They're less than, they're just over a year apart. And then shortly after Monica was a year old, your mom went back to Hamilton, where like we're originally from, like where we grew up. And so like I imagine like with bipolar, and I think he has the other one, borderline
personality.
Yeah. And I think that, big life events change you. So I think from that point on, it was a spiral for him for a while, right?
Yeah.
So I think like you as a young man, like as when we got together very young, like we were 17 years old. And so like I have always said like I want kids. I want 6 kids. And you were like, no kids, no kids, no kids. And of course, I think it wasn't until so we had Penelope in 2017, and I was pregnant for all of 2017 pretty much. Right? I got pregnant just after my birthday in 2017.
Yeah, I was off work on a appendectomy.
Yes.
And
but we had been trying.
We'd been trying.
We've been
but I was
trying
actually
for
home, right?
Yes, but we had been trying for a year previous to that. Like we had been trying all of 2016, different medications, different things, different procedures, and it was I tried a different medication and it worked finally. Like they upped my dose and it finally worked. You were home. It just lined up perfectly, and I got pregnant. And you were so excited.
I was pretty pumped.
I think like we talked about like waiting to not tell anybody until I was further along, but it was like, Mother's Day probably in 2017, and you called your dad and told him. Yeah. And I think I don't remember the conversation. I wasn't really talking to them at that point.
Yeah.
We had gone through some stuff with them, and I just wasn't talking to him at that point. He was still mad probably about the wedding.
Well, yeah, probably. So my dad got married in 2016, right?
Yeah.
And we were invited, but I hadn't talked to my dad for 3 years before
Mhm.
before that. And then, we had to talk because my sister, Patricia, she came out
Yes.
to visit.
Yes.
And my dad was like, "Hey, we have to talk just because my daughter's at your house, and I gotta be in constant communication with her." So we started talking, and then it kind
You
of
separately.
snowballed.
Yeah. Not me at all. Yeah. Yeah.
So then it kind of snowballed from there, and then right away he's like, "Well, hey, I'm getting married. Do you want to come to my wedding?" And I'm like, "Oof, man, this is crazy." And then it took it one step further. He's like, "Do you want to be my best man?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Man, we didn't talk for 3 years. Like, there's a reason for that."
And I think like you weren't excited about being a best man for him.
Yeah.
We knew the situation with him and his wife, and we love who his wife is. They're divorced now, but we love her. She's Gima to our kids. She's our kids' grandma. Like, she is amazing. So she came and visit us in Edmonton. We love her.
Yeah.
It wasn't about her. It was the relationship. Yeah. And we just knew it wasn't a good fit.
Yeah.
And so, like,
I didn't want to go to something that wasn't going to last. And on top of already this being an awkward situation.
Yeah, because he didn't talk to me.
Yeah.
He did not talk to me at all.
Like, we were going, to them, we were going for the longest time. Until about a week prior. And then I was like, "Hey, man, I can't come." But really, I had to work. But really,
we were in San Diego.
Casey had found a really cheap flight last minute to San Diego for $900, all round trip, hotel, and I don't know what else was rental car.
Yeah.
So we went to San Diego, and it was hard because anyone that knows it was, and it was hard because anyone that knows me, I'm right there posting on the socials all the time. I'm like, hey, look where I am. Hey, look what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that. So I was able to actually just fully enjoy the trip, right?
It was great, yeah.
I was taking pictures and videos, but I couldn't. I saved them all. Yeah. And then about a month after the trip, I
think it lasted 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
I think it was like you said we went to Remembrance Day.
Okay.
Yeah, we said we went during Remembrance Day, which we did not.
Yeah, because it was at the end of October.
It was
October, and it was mid-November I posted. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So I posted, I'm like, "Hey, look where I am." Yeah. And it was cool because pictures have geo locations on them.
Yeah.
So when I post a picture, it's like, you were here when you took this picture. Do you want to tag it?
He took an entire 4-day section of his social media. Like, when you look back on his Facebook on this day, it's completely the wrong dates, but to him,
yeah, it's great. I'll always remember that as we spent Halloween in San Diego.
We flew back on Halloween.
Was it Halloween we flew back on? Because we went to the haunted thing.
Yeah, that was the weekend before Halloween. We have pictures of the dogs. Okay. We gave out pop.
Right. Yeah, that's
true. In the townhouse in West Edmonton Village.
Yeah, that's true.
The bungalow.
Yeah, the village.
Yeah. West Edmonton Village, so different village. But anyways, so when I got pregnant with Penelope, it was like you were so present in everything, right?
Yeah.
So what was it like when you told your dad? That's what, because you have a very complicated relationship with your dad.
Then we were talking at that point.
So it had only been so you told them in May, and so it had only been from October 2016 to May 2017.
Yeah.
That we just missed out the wedding. That's only 6 months, not even.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So what was it like to tell my dad? My dad was pretty excited.
I think so.
My dad was excited. It's not my dad's not a human or anything like that. He's
of course
still a human, but he's just difficult. But
I think Gima was more excited.
Yeah, she was definitely very excited, and they were really pumped. They were really happy for us, right?
Yeah.
And we were able to bring them not Gima's, but we were able to bring my dad and my mom their first grandkid,
and my parents,
and your parents, right?
Yeah.
So it was really he was really excited, but also once again that's another huge life altering event for him. His baby.
Yes.
His son is now having a child.
And you were everything to him, right? Because he thought of you as this golden boy until you weren't. Right?
Until you started
standing up for yourself.
Yeah, because I would never. I let him walk all over me, and I was just like, yes.
Yes.
And then, meet Casey. I'm sneaking out to hang out with
Yeah.
Casey. I'm just defying all his orders
Yeah.
because I'm with this woman.
I was a girl.
A
Yeah,
girl,
I was
yeah,
very.
girl.
We were only 18.
But like, what he didn't like about you is that you're outspoken. You have a
Yeah.
mind of your own. You're strong-minded.
And I showed his daughters.
And you showed his daughters that they can also be strong-minded.
Yes.
They can also have
and like his way of thinking is not the only way of thinking in the world.
Yeah,
right?
and women in his mind
Yes.
are submissive.
Yes.
They don't talk back.
Yes.
They don't
Which blows
fight.
my mind that he wanted to marry Steph, but
Well, I think there's a reason for that because, and he already said that. He said, "This is a new way forward for me. Right?
Yes,
I have to do new things, right?"
it didn't work.
And she challenges me,
Mhm.
and he said that. And turns out, very early on in that relationship,
Yes.
they discovered that maybe that isn't the best for him, but
Yeah.
yet they decided to get married anyways.
So
But Steph says that's,
yeah.
it probably should never have happened.
Yeah. And then so the first time we seen your dad, I went to Ontario. I was pregnant with Penelope when I went to Ontario.
Yeah.
I did not speak to them. I didn't see them. Nothing. I might have saw Steph, but I didn't. It was a very uncomfortable situation because I wasn't talking. We didn't talk. He did some horrible things. It's upstairs. Horrible things to us when we moved to Edmonton. For the he was awful to us. But again, he was going through a bipolar thing, and he just didn't know it. We knew it. We told him.
That all comes down to mental health. As well.
100%.
Like,
not just men. But he
just
affected my mental health.
Yeah.
At the same
Oh
time.
yeah. He affected everyone.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's a family thing. And then so we finally saw him. I was very pregnant at your cousin Michelle's wedding.
Yeah.
And
it was awkward.
I was so pregnant, and we had just flown across the country, then drove 4 hours into Detroit, stayed in Detroit, then went to the wedding just outside of Windsor.
Hold on. Back up to Detroit for a second. We went on a major epic trip to White Castle.
Oh yes.
And not as good as you think it is. It wasn't
and
as good as Harold and Kumar.
Wasn't good. And I was I would have been 30 weeks pregnant at that point.
Yeah.
So I was like, and it was my first pregnancy, and it was going good up until that.
Yeah.
Up until then, it was fine.
The very humid weather.
Humid in Ontario. It was
really
so hot in Ontario.
Yeah.
And so we go to this wedding, first time we ever see them. First time we've seen them. And it was just like so awkward. It was just like an awkward situation. We go back. So like they convinced us somehow after the wedding the next day or 2 days later.
Well, you left. You went back to the hotel.
No, that was a different. That was when Penelope was born. That was Aaron's wedding.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I remember this.
Yeah, so we stayed together. We went to the hotel when we went to the swimming. Remember?
Yeah.
When I was pregnant with Penelope, and then 2 days later, we went to their house to have like ribs.
Yeah.
Remember?
We had ribs with this dude.
We had ribs with this dude that weren't ready till like 9:00 at night.
Oh my god!
I was so hungry, and like, it was like our little dog Fitz.
Yeah.
Tried to bite him when he stood up near me.
Yeah.
He stood up near me, and Fitz tried to bite him because Fitz was like, "No, this man is not coming for my mom."
Yeah. Fitz was super like.
Fitz is docile dog.
Very docile dog. Like, he didn't have a mean bone in him.
Yeah, but he tried to bite your dad.
He hated him.
Because he literally just like stood up near me, and like Fitz went crazy, and like that was the first time we talked to them in forever.
Yeah.
Like really talked to them. I think we mostly hung out with your sisters, of course. I think it was mostly Monica though, because Trish was gone. Trish wasn't there, remember?
Yeah, we took
She went with your dad somewhere. Yeah, we took pictures at the end with everybody. It was super dark.
Yeah.
We took pictures at the end, and like that's probably the last family pictures we'll ever get.
Because of that.
But then I had Penelope, and of course we were in Edmonton. They were in Ontario.
I FaceTimed them in the NICU.
Yeah.
Him and Steph, and they both looked happy. They both like.
Yeah, of course, and they were like, very happy. Like.
Yeah.
Penelope's name, and then right before she was about to meet him. Like I was literally on the
Oh,
plane to
you
go
were
to Ontario.
on the plane.
Penelope was 6 weeks old. She was born early, so we got to we were able to go home for Christmas. It was like not a scheduled thing. Penelope was supposed to be not born until the end of November, and I was on that plane December 9th.
Yeah.
And
I was coming out 2 weeks later.
Yeah. And so we were flying to Ontario to go meet my parents, my mom, my dad, I guess, because my mom had already met her. And then your sisters and your extended family and my extended family.
I can't wait to get into your extended family.
And then your dad tried to kill himself.
There's a lot of fuzzy details there.
Well, we're not going to get into the conspiracy theories about it. The fact is,
yeah,
you're going there to meet him. And so I think for you, as this is your brand new baby daughter, and we were going to Ontario to meet them. And I think for you, when you got that phone call and they said hey, your dad just tried to kill him, you had the mindset of suicide is so selfish. When you were, especially then, you were it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why would my dad do that? He has a brand new granddaughter that he's just about to meet. And you just clicked something in your head was just so mad. You were so mad.
I was pissed.
And you just wanted to protect our kids. And so our daughter, I mean. And I remember you just being I don't want you going there. I don't want you, you don't get to, he doesn't get to see her, nothing. It was very strict. And that was the first time you had to be protective of her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was
and I think
the first time I had to be protective of her because she was born 5 weeks early.
Yeah.
So she was in the NICU for 11 days.
Yeah.
Right. And that was
I think you had to be more protective of me at that point, though.
Yeah.
Because I was she was fine.
Yeah.
She just had jaundice.
24/7 coverage and watch from the nurses. So.
Yeah, I think it was me. I was very sad about the NICU stay.
Yeah, you were pretty sad about it. But the thing about the NICU, you look around. This kid's been in
I
there
know,
for
but it doesn't.
8 months.
I know, but it's the same as when you're going through cancer. Oh yeah, I could have it worse, but right now I do have it sad.
Yeah.
I can still be sad about my journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's not what we're talking about.
No,
we're not talking about mothers right now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no.
I think that kind of clicked in you, that fatherly instinct.
Yeah, it was hey, now this is what people mean. You'll protect them from everything.
Yeah.
Right? And now there's this monster. Well, I shouldn't say monster. It was
a shadow.
Maybe.
It was a shadow. It was supposed to be this joyous time. We were bringing Penelope
to meet everyone.
To meet our parents. Yeah. To meet your parents. To meet her grandparents. Her great grandparents. Her aunts. Her uncles. Our friends, our family. We have so many people.
Yeah.
In our life.
She was 2 months old, and everyone's just gonna get to meet her for the first time.
And she was the sweetest, easiest, tiny baby. She was she was literally 6 pounds when we went to Ontario.
Oh man, when we were there and everyone was holding her, we were helicopter parents. Looking back at it,
I really tried to be cool.
I tried. Yeah, I tried.
I was real to it.
So someone would hold her, and I'd be sitting right beside them.
Yeah, you were more than me.
Don't you? I'm watching you. You know.
But you held her. Connor was 17 years old, and he would we had just met Connor for the probably first or second time, right?
Yeah.
And you literally just handed him our little baby.
I was pumped.
That's up to
Connor. I was
just
though. Hey, take my kid. You want to hold my kid? I'm gonna be right there when you hold my kid. But hey, you want to hold my kid? Hey, this is my kid.
Very
hold my
proud
kid.
Father.
Right? I was showing her off to everyone. Hey, is there people? Oh, remember when we were at West End Mall? We ran into people that we didn't know, or that we did know. Sorry, that we hadn't talked to in forever. That don't really we don't get along with them.
It's not that we don't get along with these people.
It all stemmed from my dad.
Yeah.
Right. The situations, the relationships that my dad made and destroyed, and because I'm my dad's
collateral.
son.
Yeah.
Right. We're collateral.
Yeah.
So I saw that person. Oh shit, I know that person, and that person hasn't met my kid yet. Hey, come meet my kid.
Yes.
Hey, and they just turn around and walk the other way.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was awful.
Yeah.
But I think you have always been so proud of our kids. You're so proud of our kids. You don't see any of their problems.
They don't have problems.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No. Okay. Let's backtrack that for 1 second. You're so proud of Penelope you don't see any of Penelope's problems.
What are you talking about?
Like Penelope literally rammed a kid today with a bike, like the neighbor kid, and you were
Really
just
bad
like,
boy.
yeah, and you were just like, she's fine.
What did he do to her first though?
That thing, it was her.
No,
It was her
It
today.
adds up.
It
It doesn't
was-
necessarily have to be what he did right then and there. It's things that he's done that she's just like it's adding up, right? And I'm just like, yeah, you know what? You get him back.
You're so rude. But anyways, so to watch you like progress as like that proud father to now our 5-year-old who's in school is crazy, right?
That's crazy. Like I always had so back up to like proud dad 5-year-old in school.
Mhm,
Like I always said, like, you know, when she starts school, I want to be there.
mhm.
Like I miss so much.
I feel like you've said that forever,
Yeah,
right?
right from like
So
yeah,
that's on being a workaway dad, right?
Yeah.
And that's on like I think that you do compared to some people that I hear stories of. Now, I'm not saying that this is everybody, but compared to some people that I hear stories about on like Facebook and stuff like that, you do an amazing job at being present in their everyday life. Now, even when you're away, right? I think that also comes down, and I'm gonna break myself a little bit, but like I think it also comes down to me and how I make sure you're present in their everyday life, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like I think it's so important to talk to them about like daddy all the time. Like if we talk about like any small thing that happens, like her teacher said to me the other day, like she has grown so much in the past 2 months that she has just gone out of her boundaries and started like playing with other kids and doing other things than she was doing. And immediately the first thing was like, let's call daddy and tell him about this. Right. And you're always there to pick up, you're always there to listen, even when they don't want to tell you because they just are in trouble about it. Right? We always make sure to call you, and you are always there to like cheer them on, do things for them, and like you are mostly for a bedtime routine, you're there. Like you're on FaceTime during our bedtime routine, which I think like
that's big for me.
Yeah.
That's something that I try to do.
Yeah.
I know if I'm not back in time for bed, it kind of like throws the rest of my night off.
Yeah.
But like I love like, hey, yo guys, can we speed this up? If we're driving back, hey, we gotta go a little faster. We gotta get back. My kids lights out at 7:30,
Yeah.
7:45, whatever it is, and like I want to be there. I want to say goodnight.
Mhm.
Right. And so like if we gotta get gas, I'll be like, hey, we gotta go back to the hotel right now or camp right now. I'll come back out and fill this up later.
Mhm.
Right. I want to say goodnight. And that stems back because my dad was a workaway dad. He worked away a
And he
lot.
never called.
And he never called.
Yeah.
Like you never knew when my dad was gonna come home.
Mhm.
The only time you knew my dad was coming home is when he walked through the door.
Mhm.
And he didn't even call Sam, like my stepmom. He didn't
Mhm.
call anyone. Right. And you just never knew. And he never called to say goodnight. He never called to see how the day was.
So
he never,
we
he
don't
just never
do
called.
you used to, and still sometimes you do, make videos every morning. You used to do it before.
Used to do it every
You used to do it way back before we had kids.
Yep.
You used to do it just for me, right?
Yeah.
Like you've always done that, like sweet, like good morning, because obviously not so often you'd wake up before me. I used to work early.
Yeah.
But you'd usually send a good morning or a good night one if we couldn't get FaceTime each other in the morning or talk
Well,
to each
back
other.
in the day, also there was no FaceTime.
Yeah, that's true too.
Right.
We could call though. I
Yeah,
don't
we
know.
definitely called.
But you definitely sent videos a lot, and then it continued. I think I remember the very first time you sent a video is when you went to a Frack Shack
Yeah.
when you first went away after I had Penelope. And it was a while that you went away after I had Penelope. Like it wasn't until we were back from Ontario.
Yeah. So I wanted to be home for the first like 2 months maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was after Christmas when I went away because she was born in October.
Yeah. So you didn't go away until we got back from Ontario in January. We got back from Ontario January 9th.
Yeah. So it was funny because I went back and I had a new job lined up.
Yeah.
And I went to that job. It was in
And you hated it.
Saskatchewan. I think I hated it. It was really, really cold, but I really hated it because my daughter, right? She'd get, you're like, oh, she's not feeling well. Oh, well, fuck not. Like, why am I here? Right? So,
Yeah.
right? And,
You were
and
very.
I was in Kindersley and I just didn't want to be there, right?
You were
So
very.
I didn't know how to tell the boss that I'm like, hey, I gotta go. But it was like the one day when the one guy, he's like, I'm going home. I gotta go see my family, right? I'm out here too long. And he quit. And then so like him quitting was my motivation to be like, hey, I'm quitting too. I'm going home.
Yeah, and then you just went to another job out of town.
Yeah,
so,
I went to another job
yeah.
out of town, but it was more of a schedule,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I knew, okay, I'm gonna be home.
Yeah.
I gotta see my kid. I want to be home for my kid. And yeah, it was there was something about that other one that I didn't like.
Yeah, maybe it's Saskatchewan. It was too far from her.
Maybe.
Right. You've always been yeah, especially back then. You were very daddy. But like Penelope wasn't a daddy's girl. She's never been. Richard wants her to be a daddy's girl so bad. He'll go in bed with her and snuggle, because Penelope's love language is snuggling.
Yeah.
She loves to snuggle.
She's getting better.
She's just not a daddy's girl.
And that's all right. She doesn't need to be.
She's never. I don't think you've ever put her to sleep. Not
yeah.
because of trying, not because of lack of trying, because she wouldn't go to sleep for you.
When you were in the hospital with Aurora, when Aurora was born.
Do you remember that?
I do. I remember very well. She refused to go to sleep.
I think you gave her Tylenol.
No, no. So I passed out before she did.
Yeah.
Right, and when I woke up in the middle of the night, we're like butt to butt, and she's passed right out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't remember. Like,
so
she was definitely awake last time I checked.
With Aurora being born, we were going through like a weird period. We moved to Ontario to be closer to family.
Yeah.
For some reason.
It was weird.
And then it wasn't unexpected that I got pregnant, but it was like, this was like, we were going to take a break from trying, because we were like, we're going to move to Ontario. We're just going to take a break for a couple months of trying. We'll pick back up when we have our own house in Ontario.
Yeah.
Then that I left for Ontario.
I remember where I was when you told me.
June 25th or 6th or something like that. I get to Ontario 4 days later, and I was supposed to start my period July 4th, and it didn't come. And I was like, you're shitting me. And I remember I went to America to buy the cheap pregnancy tests.
Yeah.
They're 85 cents in America compared to like at least $13 here. And it's not because we didn't have money. It was just because it was cheaper there. And I was already in the States. So I bought a bunch. I remember I told Trish, I lied. I said, like, these are for my friend. She wants them. It was like, she knew. She knew immediately.
Yeah, she called you out.
Yeah. But, and I remember I woke up, I put Penelope to bed when I got home, because she co-slept, which is another mistake I've made. But, I co-slept. It was 3 a.m. And I woke up, I had to pee, and I went to the bathroom, peed in the cup, because it was like it's like the dropper one, and dropped on it, and immediately it was positive, and I was like, for fuck's sakes. And I remember just being like, how can this be real?
Yeah.
And like, I waited till like 5 or 6 a.m. and I sent it to you, and that's all I did, is I just sent it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember where I was in Hinton at the Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah.
And like, I was sitting out there, like, waiting for everyone to come out for the safety meeting. And I'm like, I gotta keep this a secret, right? It's
Did
gotta
you
be
keep
a
it a
secret.
secret?
No. I told Rob. As soon as I saw Rob, I was sitting down, and he's like, man, what's going on with you? You look like you saw a ghost.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm just like, woof, how can I not tell him, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, Casey's pregnant.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, you need to stop touching her. Right? And
yeah, because Penelope was only 18 months old.
yeah, and yeah, so that was kind of like the beginning, a little bit, of being away for a long time.
So we really messed up when we moved to Ontario.
Yeah, that should never have happened. You shouldn't have done it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I told you we shouldn't have moved to Ontario. I'll never regret the relationship Penelope and Aurora
Oh my God.
have with their aunt,
And your parents.
my parents, even your mom.
Yeah.
They don't have like a super close relationship with your mom, but that's just because your mom she lives down the mountain and she's hard to see sometimes. Not any fault of hers, but it's just hard to go see her. When we can, I gotta get next time I do go to Ontario, I gotta get better at going to see her. Yes, August. Going to see her, but like the relationship that Penelope has with her Jima, her Aunt P, my parents. I get to meet a sister, like my sister, my
We gotta
nieces.
talk about that.
I will talk about it another time. This is about Father's Day.
No, but that does have something to do with Father's Day.
Maybe a little pepper of it, but then
Just a little spice
splash.
bay.
Yeah, Salt Bay.
Salt bay?
Yeah.
Salt bay.
A sister, my nieces, my nephew. Penelope got to meet Penelope and mostly Penelope because Aurora was born on March 9th, 2020, and we know what happened a few days later after that.
A couple days after
so she didn't get to meet a whole lot of extended family, but
it's kind of nice actually to have a baby like at the beginning of a pandemic.
Boom!
No one has to come visit. You can't go anywhere.
When
just relax.
When I was pregnant with Aurora, when I got pregnant with Aurora, it was June, and then I didn't see you until August.
Yeah.
You came home in August for like 3 days.
Yeah.
And then Penelope didn't like you.
No, she didn't.
She
hated me.
Hated you. She like ignored you. She'd rather do anything else with anybody else than you.
Right. She can ignore me all she wants.
Penelope's been a mama's girl for her whole life.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Penelope's never been like talk to my dad on the phone really. She'd rather talk to anybody else that's in the room. Like it doesn't matter. I just think like she just knows her dad's there. When she's really upset, she'll talk to you.
Yeah.
But
hey, and that's cool. When
August, then you came home for Penelope's birthday. Yes, that's true. You came home for Penelope's birthday in October. You came home for Christmas. And then you didn't come home until Aurora was born. So Penelope had not seen you very often.
Yeah.
And then you were left with her. And so I had Aurora March 9th. You had only come home March 5th.
Yeah.
So we had the last 3 days together as a family.
Yeah.
And we went out and did a couple things. I was very pregnant. So it was hard to do a lot of things. Like I was 40 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
And it was hard for us to do a lot of things. So like we went, and then the next time Penelope saw you, we woke up early in the morning. When Penelope woke up, by the time she got to the hospital, there was another baby there.
Yeah.
She didn't give a shit about you. She wanted to see what the hell happened to her mother.
Yeah.
And Penelope's 2.5. She's speech delayed. She had no idea what just happened to her. But like, also, just a shout out, Richard is the best person in a delivery room. So when I had Penelope at 35 weeks, emergency C-section, after I tried to labor for days and nothing worked, they finally gave me a C-section. And you were right in there.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
He is not scared of anything. You think that he would be squeamish a little bit? No, not at all. He watched them cut it open, pull her out.
It's crazy.
Penelope was early, so they took her away right away.
Very graphic.
They put her on me for a little bit, but they took her away. But Aurora, you were so in there.
Yeah.
Like, you were such a good support in there. Like, it's scary going and, like, laying down on the table, and you were such a good support. And, like, when I go into a C-section, I always say, like, when I said it, when we were emergency C-section with Penelope, I said, your job is that baby. I said, I will be fine. The doctors are there to watch me. You watch that baby. Because I wanted kids for so long. And then I finally got them. And then she was going to be taken away. And I was very upset about that. I was like, go. Take her. Go with her.
Yeah.
Don't leave her sight.
You had to spend like the first half hour of just her and Idea. Then your mom rolled in.
Yeah. My mom was like, 45 minutes late for my C-section?
45 minutes.
She literally left.
Pretty good.
Yeah. She literally left Hamilton. Got here 45 minutes after I had the baby.
Yeah.
But, like, it wouldn't matter. You were always coming in. Like, you were always coming in the C-section room with me. But then we had Aurora. Aurora's more relaxed.
latched to you right away.
Aurora, yes. So Aurora was a mommy's girl, but Richard was always so good at putting her to bed. You're the only person ever that has put that kid to bed with no boob. She was always.
How do you know there was no boob?
I don't know, because I watched you every night. You'd put her to sleep, no problem. You rocked her.
Yeah.
She was so good for you, so good.
Yeah.
But anyways, in the delivery room, you were like so good. You like took the right pictures. You took a little sometimes inappropriate pictures,
That's me though.
but
Those are for my eyes only.
Ugh.
NSFW. Maybe they are safe for work. Maybe I've showed them at work.
I hope you didn't show that photo.
No, definitely not.
Ugh.
But it was crazy because, like, so she was stuck in there, right? And they had to rip open your existing C-section scar.
Yeah.
And you're,
So I only have
Like,
one
you hear-
scar that's like this big.
you could hear the,
I couldn't hear that.
and it was like, oh, that is crazy.
I couldn't hear
And
that.
then they're reaching up in there, and like she was
They do
holding
vacuum.
on to your ribs for dear
Well,
life.
with her feet though,
With her
because her
feet.
head. So
Yeah.
here.
So I watched. They brought the table down. The doctor got up on there, and she put her knee on you, and like was just like yanking on her. And I was like, this kid is nuts,
Yeah.
right?
And,
And,
she was.
like, who knew? Well, obviously, like from that we should have known,
Yeah.
right? From
I
from
agree.
that delivery, we should have known this kid is stubborn.
Mhm.
This kid is bold.
Mhm.
This kid is going to give us a run for our money.
And she has ever since then.
But like, as a new dad, right? Like, I had that rookie dad shirt. I wanted that rookie dad shirt, and I saw it,
With
but it's
no.
like 2 sizes too small. It's got puke and piss and
I don't think
stuff
so.
all over it.
I know you say
All
that,
the
but-
stuff you need on a rookie dad shirt.
Mhm.
But like, so going from Penelope to Aurora, right? You were pregnant. It was like everyone's like, "Hey, you excited for number 2? You ready?" And I'm like, "Man, we had number 1. Number 1's a cakewalk.
So
like-
different.
Like, we got the book already. This is gonna be easy."
So different.
That kid came out with her own rule book, her
Yes.
own book attached to the hip, being like, "Hey, you better study."
So, okay, so here's one for you, a good Father's Day question. A lot of people always say, like, are you going to go for a boy?
I don't care.
Yeah. So,
I talk about it a lot, but I don't care.
we have always, like, I've always said we'll have 2 girls and a boy. I don't know that that's going to happen. We don't know. We have no
Two
idea.
for 2 so far.
I am 2 for 2. I've always said that we're going to have 2 daughters, and I would have a girl, another girl, and then a baby boy. We'll see, because we might even add a 4th after that. We don't know what's going to happen.
Probably.
Oh yeah, see, once you start having kids, you're addicted to them.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
the smell. Richard loves that
oh,
newborn smell.
the smell is amazing.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, we were dinks before,
Yeah.
double income, no kids.
Yes.
And hey, shout out to Billy and Amanda.
Yes.
But we were dinks before, and, you know, like, our money had no purpose. It was like, hey, let's go and have fun,
Yes.
right? And that was 12 years of just you and I doing that,
It was great.
right? So, like, you know, 12 years of just you and I doing that, and then all of a sudden our money has a purpose. Our money goes
Our money always
towards,
had a purpose, but I mean a future purpose. Maybe.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it was like our money was the blind leading the blind. It was like, hey, let's pay rent, some bills, and go have fun and do whatever we want after that.
Yeah.
Let's go have a $300 meal at the Keg.
It was never $300.
It was $300.
It's not. I wish I
will
could find it.
stand by that. I have a picture of that. I will stand
Show
by
me.
that to the day I die.
I don't know what we were eating for $300.
It was the Keg.
It's not.
It was the Keg. It was we were having some drinks. We had like get the most expensive thing on the menu. I was treating my lady. Anyways, so you know, now our money has a purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Like sure it
future.
might be like Barbie dolls with no clothes and war ant Barbie dolls because they don't have legs or arms for some reason, but
Aurora
uh,
is the reason for that.
that kid, she is wild. I say this a lot. We're
So-
gonna spend her 18th birthday outside her prison cell.
So here's the thing. The girl dad thing, it doesn't bother you. As you know, like people always say, like, oh, boys. Like, you gotta have a son. In the end, what does it matter, right?
You get what you deserve.
What you deserve.
You
I don't
get
know
what
about
you
what you
deserve.
deserve. I think you get what you're given. And you
what
don't get
you're
upset.
given, 100%.
And you don't
But
get
you
upset.
know what they say about like, hey, if you have daughters, it's because you deserve them, right?
I think no.
And
I
like,
don't. Do they say deserved? I think you earned. So for me, like, I think that's also a toxic. You deserve them. Like,
Ah,
is that
yeah.
like, is it hard to raise girls or is it hard to raise boys?
We don't know.
We don't know.
the difference. But I can tell you, raising girls is hard.
Raising girls, there's
It's a lot of
so
fun.
many things
It's a lot
about
of
raising
fun.
girls that I think is going to be so hard. So, growing up, I wanted a sister, so I wanted my kid to have a daughter. Or a sister, and now I'm not sure. Because they just they don't jive
Yeah.
very often. But when they do, they do.
When they're getting along, they're at their like max getting along.
Oh, it's great.
Like, you watch them like run up to each other, hug each other, kiss each
Yes.
other. I love you.
Every day.
You know,
If you
and-
watch Aurora walks Penelope into school,
Yeah.
and she says like, "I love you," and like walks her in.
I think that's mainly because she wants to go in.
I think
she
so,
wants
wow.
to be in that school.
Probably she won't be in that school.
No, but yeah, no, they do. When they get along, it's nice to see. But when they
But when
fight
they
like
don't,
cats and dogs,
it's hell.
it is hell on earth.
Yes.
But I also like sometimes I like to add a little salt
Yes.
right in there. Like,
So-
like, hey,
I feel like you've grown so much of being a dad. Like before you like antagonize the children, you still do antagonize the children. In general, usually it's the neighbor kids now.
oh yeah,
Our kids you still antagonize, but you've grown so much. Even in this, so when we moved to Calgary in September 2011, it was like the first
2011.
2012. No, 2021. Gosh, what am I doing? When we moved to Calgary in September 2021, and it was our first time being alone as a family of 4, and I think since then, your growth as a dad and a person and a husband has been amazing. Because not that you were a bad dad or husband before, it's just there was other people around,
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
it's just us 4. Like even when you're not, it's still just us 4.
There was always someone there, like telling me what I'm doing wrong, telling me what I need to do better, and it was like, hey, you need to always offering up their opinion.
Yeah.
Right, and then you pull yourself out of that.
Which is like our
situation.
best advice for young couples: leave.
Don't
Leave.
leave your
Leave.
family.
Leave.
Like your family, you got a parent.
Be alone.
Your
Struggle
parent.
together.
Struggle together.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that is good advice. Struggle together.
Yeah.
You don't need other people around you, and I mean, hey.
And struggle doesn't mean also just financial struggle.
Yeah.
It means like struggle, like someone's having a hard time at work, someone's having a hard time in their life, someone's having struggle together.
Yeah, and also not just work, but like being a parent.
Yes.
They're struggling being a parent because like you're alone often with them.
Yes.
There are days where you're touched out.
Oh yeah.
You're touched out mentally. You're drowning, and
Yes.
and it's like, oh, okay, well, and me being away, it's like, okay, well, what do I need to do? What can I do from here, where I am, hundreds of kilometers away?
Yeah.
That'll help you out a little.
So
bit,
I
right?
think in this particular month, so this is June, you have done so much, right? So I dropped the ball on finding a house pretty early. Like I was just like drained from it because like me finding a house plus packing up this house plus making sure everything was done here plus still doing day-to-day stuff it's just like I was just drained mentally. And so Richard picked up the ball, found us a house, put Penelope in an out of catchment non-public school, so she had
Catholic.
so she had to put her in there, and that just took so many things off my plate that like it was like, oh my god, this is amazing, thank God.
Yeah, I just use my spare time after work and stuff, right?
Yeah.
when
Or
I
like
was
a rain day.
or rain day, and it was like, we had a reset day. We
Mhm.
had a reset day, and I was like, I'm gonna do this all day.
And you found us a house and you put her in
It
school.
might be in the inner city, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, whatever.
You know what? It's a great house. They have their own backyard. For the first time, this is like our backyard,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just for us. It's just for our family. She loves so many people in Edmonton
Yeah,
that you know what I mean. Like
we know
she's-
nobody here. Like, we have friends now.
now
But,
that
like,
we've made. Yes.
But in Edmonton, it's just like we had past history there.
Yes.
Then there's my coworkers
Yes.
there who my kids have come to know and love, and
Yes.
and my kids have become like the crew mascots.
Yeah. So what? Let's go on that. Like, what is that like bringing? So like when you started at this company,
Yeah.
in 2015, 16,
Yeah.
15 or 16, you were just a husband. Like we were young, we went to Disney World, like we did a lot of fun things. We went to Salt Lake City.
We were cool.
We were cool.
We were
and
the
you were
young
like,
people.
And you were like the young guy on the crew.
I was the young guy on the crew.
Right? So what's it like now working with the same people, some of the same people?
A lot of the same people.
Now bringing your kids to work.
So it was pretty cool because, you know,
we don't bring them to work to the sites.
Yeah.
Just like,
well, you drive through the sites.
So we drive through the sites. They love driving through the sites and seeing like all their, they call them their friends, but really they're your coworkers.
Yeah. We're like family.
Yeah.
We were together a lot.
And so like they love driving through the sites and like, oh my gosh, can I say names?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, there's Shelby. Like there's
Shelby will love that.
Yeah, they love it.
Shelby loves that. She actually said when you get through Boyle.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, my kids are here. She's like, I know, I saw them drive
Yeah,
by.
she told me that too. Yeah. And so like, you know what I mean? Like they love seeing, you know, like, oh my gosh, there's the chipper, there's the, you know what I mean? There's a roller, there's the brooms, there's, oh my gosh, there's a flagger, there's Chrissy's a flagger. Like they love seeing that kind of stuff. So like, what's it like for you now, your children coming?
It's pretty cool, actually. You know, like when we were in orientation, when I told them that you were pregnant with Penelope for the first time,
mm-hmm.
and everyone's just like, wait, Casey's you're having a kid?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. They're like, oh my God. Rob and I had only one or two things in common.
Mm-hmm.
But during that orientation, when we did the getting to know you shit,
yeah.
And it's like, hey, what do you guys have in common with people in this group? And Rob looked at me, he's like, we're both dads. And I was like, fuck yeah. Right? Like, fuck yeah. Like, I didn't know at that point, right? It was like, yeah, I'm going to be a dad. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But I didn't get what it meant.
Yeah.
Right? And like, so that was cool. And for Rob to be there for literally every step of the way,
yeah.
he was just my coworker at that point. He still was my coworker. Right now he's my superintendent.
Yeah. He's
right?
the boss now.
He's the boss, right?
Yeah.
So like, he's like, hey man. And he always asks, he's like, hey, how are the kids doing?
Yeah.
How's school going?
Yeah.
You know, and I almost quit last year. Right. If I couldn't get time to go see Penelope for first day of school,
yeah.
And I told him that,
yeah.
It was like, hey man, he forgot that I asked for that time off.
Yes.
And it became a thing because it was last minute. In his mind, it had become last minute.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like, I'm sorry, but if this is not gonna happen, I have to quit this job.
Yeah.
And I will walk. Like this is important. I can go back to TCR for where I work in the winter. I'll go back early. They're more than happy to have me.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But like, this is important to me.
Yeah.
Out of everything in my life that happens,
mm-hmm.
it's like, this is one thing I cannot miss.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, here's a truck, go.
Yeah. And they really did pull through and make sure it came together. And it only ended up being you missed half a day anyway.
I
so
missed
like
half a day. Yeah.
It wasn't that big of a deal then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but seeing your coworkers that you've known forever, like, and you've seen them like wasted.
Yeah, I've seen them do some pretty interesting things.
Interact with our children and be so sweet with our children.
Yeah.
Right? Like even at TCR, right, Drew?
Yeah.
I think
that blows my mind.
You've always been a dad when you've worked at TCR.
Yeah.
You've always had Penelope, then we had Aurora.
But a very new dad.
Yes.
When I worked at TCR. Like less than a year or just a year.
So, like when you see Drew with our daughters, because Drew is so sweet to our daughters.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's got to be like so weird to see.
Well, yeah, because the shit that comes out of Drew's mouth and the way he acts and the shit I've seen him do. And when he, I forget that he has his own kids sometimes, right? But like to watch a guy like literally flip a switch and like turn on and off his filter around my kids. And we're very open with our kids. Like we don't, like no one used to have a filter around our kids usually. Yeah. And so it is weird, seeing that. Yeah. But like, at TCR when they're up in the window, or ACP, when they're up in the window and we all get back from work, everyone's drained, everyone's exhausted, everyone just wants to go to sleep. And they're just like the welcoming committee. Yes. They're like, hey, I hate that. How was your day today? Yeah. Hey, how are you? Right? And like you can
Did
see
you
it.
drive that chipper today?
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
They look up and it
They
just puts a
smile,
smile
yeah.
on their face,
They
and they're just
wave.
like, "Hey, you know what? I needed that today.
Yeah.
Thank you." Right? And that's really cool. I really love that.
Yeah.
They become a part of the crew in a way. The crew views them as part of the crew.
Yeah.
Because last year they were there.
We were there a lot
all the
last year.
time.
Yeah. This year not so much, but we don't know what's gonna happen in the summer. But
Yeah.
Penelope's in school this year, so it's a lot different this year also,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I think it's wild, like that, like when you go and like hang out with your coworkers and our kids are here, like you're holding our kids, but like before you were like the young guy, like that must for you. So like that's just me watching on the outside.
Yeah.
Like for you, it must feel like imposter syndrome almost.
Sometimes, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it goes like, man, I used to be like the laborer on this crew.
Yeah.
And people used to look down
Yeah.
not on me,
down
on me. The laborers are really highly respected because they work their ass off sometimes.
Yeah.
So like that was me. Like I worked my ass off.
Mhm.
And so like, to go from being a laborer on the crew to being like a heavy equipment operator and being like one of the older guys, and as Rob wants to put it, a one. You're one of my ones, man. All right. And that's pretty cool, right? That knowing that like, they trust me to do a lot of things. They put a lot of responsibility on me, right? And during a lot of moments they're like, hey, I need you to do this.
Yeah.
I need you to run this part of the show for me, and I need you to take that off my plate.
Right.
Right. And that's pretty cool. Like at times it's like I don't want that responsibility. But I
know
at the other time it's like, hey.
But that was like you not wanting to be a dad, right? In relation.
Oh.
It was like you didn't want it for so long, and then one day I was just like, I want to have kids. And I think like it took, I honestly, I don't know how it happened. Like it was just like I was like, we're gonna do it, it doesn't matter.
You happened, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be in a relationship either, right? Growing up, I watched my dad, right? I watched my dad like take a match to every relationship, intimate, friendly, with his friends. I watched him take a match to every relationship he'd have.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it was like, well, I thought it was them, right? And it was like, well, shit. Why do I want relationships if people just come
burn
and go?
you like
if people are just gonna constantly burn me like that, why do I want that in my life? So like, it was just like, I'm gonna stay single forever, right? And then, I met you, and it was like, well, I can't stay single, so like, I don't want to get married then. I want something that's easily like I can walk away from this at any time.
I do remember the non-marriage thing too. I almost, because we've been married for so long, I forgot about that almost.
So like it was like I don't want to get married. I just want to be in a relationship. She's amazing, and I should probably marry her. But like, I've got to be 1 foot out, right? I got to be able to walk away at any point and it'd be okay, right?
Yes.
And then it gets to the point where it's like, why would I ever want to be able to walk away from that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, why do I want to get to that point where, hey, this isn't working for me? Or I can walk away, or I could be like, hey, this isn't working. Let's make it work. Let's fix it. Let's work on it, right?
And we did.
And we did a lot of that because we were so young.
Yes.
And you
were
could say we're
idiot.
both idiots, but like
No.
I was an idiot.
I was not an idiot.
Right? So like it took me a long time to get there.
I was not an idiot. I just want you to clarify that I was not the idiot in that situation.
You weren't the idiot.
Not sure. I wasn't.
Okay, you weren't the idiot. But like, so it took me a long time to get there. Right?
Yes.
And then boom, one day it's just like you run out of reasons not to get married to this person, right?
Yeah.
And then, so you get married, and then same thing, like, hey, I don't want kids. And then it's like, well, then you look at that person who wants kids, and it would make her more happier than anything in the world to have those kids. And all you want is for that person to be super happy.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's one thing that's missing from her life. And then it's like, well, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And then boom, let's have kids. And then and it's like, I'm so dead set on making you happy, because if you're happy, we're happy. And if I'm happy, we're happy.
Yes.
Right? So like,
and I think like being parents has made us
boring.
No. I think we were more boring before, to be 100% honest.
And, yeah, we were pretty
We
boring.
traveled a lot, but we were boring people. Like, we didn't do anything exciting. We went to the movies.
We went to the movies.
Yeah. Like, we didn't do anything really exciting. I think it's made us more, like, stronger in our relationship, right? Because, like, we have 2 little girls that are watching, and especially girls.
Yeah.
Are watching us.
Yeah.
Our marriage.
Yeah.
Watching the way their dad treats their mom.
And that's huge for me.
And it's huge for me too.
Yeah. You have issues there too.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, I want them to see, I don't want them to see what I saw and what my sisters saw.
Yeah, I don't want them to see what I saw.
And hey, what did you see?
So, yeah, we'll get into that, I'm sure, later, but, like, it just wasn't, my growing up was not the ideal growing up, right? There's a lot of, like, closed doors, secrets, and, like, we don't keep secrets from our kids.
No.
We've made that very clear. We don't. Our Penelope has very high anxiety, but we deal with that in a way that doesn't keep secrets from her, right? Like, when we talked about moving to Edmonton, it was a whole process of talking to her about it, and we never kept secrets. Like, we never just didn't tell her. We always tell her what's going on because she feels better about what's going on.
Yeah.
Because we keep secrets, it's bad. But yeah, I for me, I wanted my kids to see a man who loves their mom through everything, right? Not conditionally, through everything. And I wanted my kids to see a partnership and, like, us working through struggles. Even when we do get into fights, you want your kids to see that and you working to the resolve, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise they see the fight, but they don't see the resolve. They just see next morning, right?
Yeah.
So, like, we always take the time to make sure, like, we don't often fight in general, but if we do,
we have little disagreements.
Yeah, we do have disagreements, especially, like, when it comes to the children, right? You're more easygoing than I am.
Let them go. Have
Yeah,
fun. Let them go. They'll.
I'm
hey,
like
your
kidnapping.
kids are like dogs. They'll find their way home.
They won't. Rory hasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
I think she knows her way home. She'll get there when she gets there.
So let's go back to the work thing about this.
Okay.
How has being a father changed your relationship with your coworkers, especially your younger ones?
Oh, damn.
Right? Because Braden.
Yeah. Braden. I look at him as like, man, that's someone's son.
Like, you're proud of Braden.
I'm very proud of Braden.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of Braden. Like, watching that guy, when he got to us, he was green. For the oil field, he was greener than grass.
Yes.
Right? And he was 18 going on 19.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I was watching, his mom's 4 years older than me. 4 years older than me.
Yeah.
And we're Miss Loretta.
Anyways.
And anyways, so, like, hi, Gail. I hope Gail watches. Hi, Gail. Watching him come in. Watching him learn.
Mm-hmm.
Watching him grind for what he wants.
Yeah.
Right? The guy bought a brand new truck.
Yeah.
The guy met a girl.
Yes.
They got their own place this year.
Yes.
What's up, Haley? They're working for something, and they're talking about marriage.
Yeah.
Right? And I love that. So one thing about Braden had a good upbringing.
Yes.
Like what we're trying to do for our kids.
Yes.
Myron and Gail, his parents, have been together for a long time.
Yeah, which is amazing, right?
Which is amazing. And, like, they are from 2 different provinces, I believe. Yeah. One's from Nova Scotia, one's from Newfoundland.
I have no idea.
Right? So, like, I don't know, like, the logistics of their relationship or anything like that, but from what I've learned, like, they were young and they had to make it work.
Yeah.
Right? And they did.
Yeah.
Right? And, there's lots of love there. And it shows in Braden.
Yeah. Braden's very sweet. I've never met Braden yet.
Braden's like Penelope. Braden loves his people. Braden loves his people.
No, yeah.
Right?
Our daughter is a lover.
Yeah, Braden's very loyal.
Yes.
Right?
Penelope's
And oh yeah. Loyal to a fault almost.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. I watched him. So
but does that change your relationship with them? So when you were the young guy in the crew, you would get a lot of older guys, fathers talking to you, right?
Absolutely.
Jeremy Bucher, Kent
Oh,
Knox.
Jeremy. Yeah.
I'm sure so many more that I couldn't. Those are the ones that you still kind of talk to.
Yeah.
At least definitely Jeremy Bucher.
Yeah.
That would kind of guide you. But now you're that guy.
Yeah. It's
weird. That must be like a weird
It's
role
weird.
reversal for you.
Telling one of my coworkers the other day, don't shit where you eat.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And trying to offer up advice that way and being like, hey man, like I'm rooming with a very young guy right now.
So he's a family friend.
Sure.
He's a family. Our daughter loves him.
Yeah, he does. She does. Yeah, she does.
And him and his girlfriend drove to Calgary for her 5th birthday because all she wanted
was him
for her 5th birthday was him there, and he made it happen. And that alone should make him a family friend.
Yeah. So as a young guy, I met him when he was 20.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was up all night. He was drinking.
Yes.
He wasn't eating properly.
Yes.
He was making bad decisions.
Yes.
Probably still is making bad decisions. And he's still doing all those things. But like, I've helped him along the way. We're rooming together, right?
Yes.
And I said to Rob, first day we were back on the road, I said to him, he's like, how'd you get Ashton here so early?
Yes.
And I'm like, we're rooming together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wake him up when I get up, and you're gonna see a completely different Ashton this summer.
I think you told me one time you called me, you fell asleep very early.
Yeah.
And like I was like, that's so weird. Like Rich didn't even it was like 9:30.
It was like 8:30, 8:45.
And I was like, what the? You said like you guys both were talking on the phone, and you guys were like, oh, we're gonna go for drinks with our other coworkers last day.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. But you always, best husband, you always hourly check in. You never go more than an hour without checking in when you're out somewhere. Always. Just so like I feel better. I don't know if you feel better, but I feel better about it.
Well, it gives me an excuse to talk to you too. When I'm like, like, hey guys, I gotta go. My wife wants to talk to me, so I dip back to my room. It's an out sometimes. So
you called me, or you texted me finally at like 10:30, and you were like, "I'm asleep," and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, did Ashton go too?" And you're like, "No, he's asleep." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I was surprised too, because like he is like way up later than you. Like you always told me, like he's up way later, and. What did he say to you in the morning? You said
he's like, man, that was like one of the best sleeps ever. Can we do that again tonight?
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, dude, yeah, I'm down to do that every
night. You just sleep early.
Yeah, like I like staying up. I like going live on TikTok. I like talking to you. I like
But we usually like 11:30 max. Usually, we'll talk.
And that's still pretty late. That's
for you because you're up so early, right?
I like to get up early. I like to take my time getting ready. I don't like to be rushed in the morning. I don't like making my food at night. Mm-hmm. I've gotten into the habit of making it during the day, right? In the morning when I first get up. It's part of my morning routine.
Yes.
And it helps me get up a little earlier. Okay, I got shit to do.
What was that like when I was there though? Did I just mess it up because I made your lunch for you?
You just took one less thing off me in the morning, and I could cuddle you for a little while.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like, Ashton's like, why don't you shower at night? And sometimes I do, right?
Sometimes you do both.
But like if I'm really dirty, and I really sweat, I'm gonna have a shower. But if like I didn't, I'm just running equipment, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm in AC. So like if I'm, if I'm not dirty, I'm not sweating. I'll just save it for the morning. It helps. Yeah. It like I said, it gets me up earlier.
Yeah.
It helps me.
But up. Like the father thing, though, right? Like, is it weird to have a relationship with your coworkers, like you were given, right?
Yeah. So I don't think I was quite given one like that because Ashton left me a note on my on my nightstand in the room one morning. Like, please don't forget to wake me up.
Yeah. Okay, but that's actually with like Braden too, right? Like But I think you're closer to Braden than you were with with anybody else. Like,
definitely.
With Jeremy, it's the same. It's not the same as it was with like you and Jeremy, right?
Jeremy really guided me a lot.
But that's what I mean. But that's what you're doing with Braden, though.
I met Jeremy like 2 weeks after, or a week before he became a father.
Yeah, isn't that wild? And now his daughter's like 13.
And now his daughter's 13.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He would take me to like hockey games. He would drive
Yes.
me to work.
But
He
I
would
mean,
drive me home.
if you lived in town, I'm sure it would be the same with someone else, right?
Yeah,
Like
probably. Yeah.
it would be just a different person, a different relationship. You do have those. You're not very social anymore. You're trying to get more social again. You kind of went off on it. Maybe it was mental health. Maybe it was
definitely mental health played a role in it for sure.
TikTok, but you forgot how to be social with other people
in person.
In person, yes.
Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with like going down social media the last couple of years has shown me like there are some really good people, but there are some really bad
sick people.
Like the further down social media I go, the less social I become.
And so I think we've talked about this before. I don't think on a podcast, but for me, it's the complete opposite, right?
Yeah.
I was very like a no social. I would rather die than go anywhere. You wouldn't have caught me waving at people at ACP before.
Yeah.
Like I would go there, drop you off, and immediately get out.
And like last week, we all sat outside and you got drunk with
them.
You drank with them.
And like, it's wild. Like the more I become more social and you became less social. And so I think we're both trying to find that like balance of like being
I'm enjoying
social.
Watching you being social. It's really interesting.
I haven't been social in I don't remember the last time I was like a social person.
Yeah.
Right? Like going out places and doing things. Like even now, like I go to our neighbors and we hang out and we talk. And like with our kids are playing, right? Like,
to be clear, the neighbor is other women.
Yes. It's like their mothers.
You're like, hey,
she's
hanging out with the neighbor.
Yeah, whatever. It's like other mothers and our children are the same ages and they play outside together, right?
Yeah.
Like
every night.
Every night. And so like it's just it's so interesting to see the evolution. I very much am like go out. Like Braden's last night, like why didn't you go out? Like why didn't you go out to the bar with Braden and hang out with him, buy him a drink and do, you know what I mean? Like go be social with these people, not, you know what I mean? Like sit down, have a few drinks, you can have pop, you can have water, like it doesn't matter. Like go out and be social because you're so stuck in this computer, in the phone screen, instead of being social. And like
I think it has a little bit more to do with also I'm at the age now where my dad was at when he started to crack.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Right? So like I'm trying to you know, I'm being very, very careful and paying attention to my body and the signs that it might be giving me, but it's not.
But when you're Nana.
Yeah.
So if no one knows the story of Richard and like your dad, and like, so your dad was adopted out at a young age.
Yeah.
We didn't meet your Nana until 2013.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Been 10 years already.
Wild how much has changed in 10 years. Like, they all have kids.
Yeah.
Every single, like, the older ones all have kids.
Yeah.
And even now, your sister Chantel is going to have a baby too. So, like, that's even more. Like, all the, like, I would love one day to get, it's not going to be the same people in the photo, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that would be a wild photo.
Yeah. But, like,
we should get them all together for that
photo. But, like, it's just so wild, that whole, I never thought, but so we met your grandmother, you know, like a couple of months after we met your aunt and uncle, in 20.
He was adopted.
Because he was adopted. So we met
50 years later. They found each other.
Yes. Because I persisted.
Yeah, we persisted.
It was me pushing you to persist.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to know who they were.
Yeah.
And so we had talked a lot to Richard's Nana. And we just call her Nana.
Yeah.
We call her Nana. She's the sweetest lady.
And
so like we talked a lot on the phone to her when we first moved to Edmonton. And she sent us like all the bipolar magazines, remember?
Yeah.
She sent us like all these magazines so we could like help understand your dad.
Yeah.
And like, cause like it was like a big family like rift happened, right?
Yeah, big.
Because it was like he left Sam. He went with Sam is your youngest sister's mom, Trisha's mom. And it was like a very tumultuous thing when they left. And then he jumped into a relationship with Steph, which is Jima.
Like right away.
Right away. And it was just like, and he was going through something. He was going through a bipolar thing. We knew it. He didn't know it. Everybody talked about it. He refused to believe it. So we just stopped talking to him. And that hurt you so bad when we stopped
course.
talking to him, because it was like, the you had to stand up for me then. And
Well, because I didn't do enough standing up for you the
before,
first time.
yes, when there was other problems. So when he one day I asked for your skates back. I'll just say it. I asked for your skates because he was letting other people use your skates, like other weird random people use your skates. And you told me, get my skates back. You had texted him already and said, like, Casey's gonna get my skates. And then I asked him for them, and he like blew up at me and yelled at me. And like, that's not my daddy. Like, I'm not getting yelled at. Yeah, I'm not getting yelled at by some man. Like, ain't no way. And so I got the skates, went home, called Richard, and Richard blew up at him. And like, my dad was so mad about it too. Remember? Because my dad was like, no one talks to my daughter like that. And we hadn't talked to him, like, we didn't even talk to him for a long time. So Nana sent us all these magazines about bipolar, trying to understand him. And she said to you, you would already know. You would already know if you have it. You can see signs. And she said, like, I don't see any signs. I've never seen any signs of it. I see you becoming less social, but that's because you think you're being social on the internet, but you're not really being, like, filling your social bucket social.
Yeah, I'm very social. I'm a very social person.
Yeah, we used to fight about going out.
Yeah.
Like, I hated, you would go out with your friends and I would stay home. Like, I would not go anywhere. You'd go to a barbecue, I would know, I'll stay home.
Yeah.
I'll stay home. I would never in a million years do that now. But I don't want my kids to see that either. So, like, I think we're trying to find that
I think we're fine.
perfect balance. I think it'll change a little bit in the next couple of months when we move to Edmonton and we have more people around, right? Like, I think the balance will switch, but it's so weird to see you not social for so long, right? So like you were saying with Jeremy doing the taking you out and stuff like that, like I think that's how you get to know Braden on a different level than work too, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, you work together, but yeah, you're in your work uniforms when you're talking, right?
Yeah, but we don't talk about work things.
No, I know, but it's different. Things. I know, but it is different.
So when I was the young guy, right?
Yeah.
And we were in Grand Prairie. I was working for Praxis.
Yes.
I can't remember his name now, but he died. He got into a car accident.
Oh,
he got hit by a drunk driver while he was drinking and driving.
Gosh.
It was crazy.
I can't remember that guy's name. Is that Scott?
Maybe it was Scott. I might have been Scott.
He took you to Smitty's.
He took me to Smitty's every day.
Yeah.
And he paid for my food.
Yes.
Not because I couldn't afford it, but because I was a young guy just starting out, and then my money should go other places.
Yes, I do.
So he was like, "Hey, I got you. Come on." And plus, I was his DD. So like, he wanted to drink. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
You've always met that man, yes.
Yeah, and I've always been the DD anyways.
Yeah.
I done it for free. Done it for steaks. I've done it for food.
Yeah.
It's all good. But with Braden, right?
Mm-hmm.
I made an executive call his first season, right? Mm-hmm. Terry wanted him to go back out. We had worked an insane amount of hours one week, right?
Yeah.
And Braden, we were driving back, and he's passing out. He's having a hard time. The guy hasn't had a shower in 3 days.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a hot meal. He doesn't have any clean clothes left.
Yeah.
Right? So Terry's like, can you guys go back out? And I'm like, I can go back out, but he's going back to camp.
Yeah.
And Terry's like, what? I'm like, look at his face. Smell him.
Yeah.
He needs time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Terry's like, okay. Go back to camp. Right? And I'm like, that's right. And then Terry's like, how's he doing anyways? I'm like, listen, man, like, if he was going to quit, he would have done it 2 days ago when we had that big day. Yeah. Right? This kid's the real deal. He's here.
Yes.
Keep him. Right? And that's when Braden became one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
Like, that guy, we go to battle together, and
and you barely get to work together.
And we barely get to work together. So when I get to work with Braden,
it's a treat.
It's a treat.
Yes.
For 21-year-old kid, I think he is.
I don't think Braden's even that old.
He might be 20.
He might be 20, yeah.
And, like, one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
Like, outside work, at work,
I love the kid.
Yes.
And he makes all the right decisions. He wants to
He's
be
very
there.
sweet.
For
I
the
can't.
right
I
reasons.
do look forward to meeting Brayden.
He wants to be
Haley-
there for the right reasons. He's like, hey, you know what? At first it was like, I just want to buy a house
Yes.
and build it up, buy it, and that's where my parents can retire to.
yeah.
I
so
want to
sweet.
buy a truck.
What a sweet kid.
Yada yada yada. Hey, now for him, it's now I gotta propose to this girl.
Yes.
I want to make her my wife. We gotta have a future together.
Yes.
And that's where his money's going to now, right? And you know, head on his shoulders. Most guys come out, they see that them kind of dollars, and they're like, blow it all.
Yeah.
He's got a goal
Yes.
at 20 years old.
Yes.
He doesn't let those dollar amounts that he
Yeah.
sees. He doesn't let him. He doesn't let him stray from his goal,
hmm
and I love that.
I know you do. You talk about Brayden like you talk about Penelope.
Ah,
Yeah.
really?
Yes.
What about Aurora?
So, Aurora and you are so. Aurora just. I don't even know how to describe Aurora. Aurora loves you, but Aurora also is just like. I don't. Yeah, I don't know how to describe Aurora.
So Shelby and I, we joked around, right?
Yes.
Because, and it wasn't just Shelby, it was me, Shelby, and a couple others. But when you were pregnant with Aurora,
Yeah.
I was always talking about Penelope.
Yeah.
Right? And like worried about Penelope.
Yeah.
So
always.
like, so you don't care about this second kid.
No.
And it's not, and I'm like, of course I care about it, right? And then we were talking, and then finally I just joked around with them, like, yeah, fuck that kid, right?
Yeah.
And then when Aurora was born, right, I was just like, I went back to ACP, everyone's like, oh, congratulations on the kid. I'm like, thank you. And then I talked about Aurora or Penelope a lot.
Yeah.
And like, so Aurora, I'm like, who?
You
Right?
did not say
It was
who.
a joke. It was a joke, right?
Ah,
And then
my
it started
mommy.
with Shelby, like,
So
oh,
here's
you
the
know,
thing, like, for me, Aurora is, I love my kids. I love both of them.
Yeah.
And like, I always feel like people like you, your family, don't like
I
Aurora
love Aurora.
because Aurora is the most like me.
Aurora is you,
Aurora is me.
the human embodiment of you. Like, she looks identical. She's
Yeah.
your twin.
Yeah,
She
she does look a
like
lot like
her
me.
mannerisms, her character is you.
Yes.
Everything about her is you.
So and you know what? People say that all the time.
And I love that.
And like people say like, oh man, I love Aurora. Like, oh, she's so funny. She's so funny. But like, I think she's like you.
She's hilarious.
She's the funniest.
So her and I butt heads a lot.
Because she's like me, I think. And like, why can't you just treat her like you treat me?
So her
She's
and I
like,
butt
give
heads a
me a
lot
pat on the back and
because
just go.
because she's so smart.
She's
Incredibly
scary
smart. She's
yeah.
very smart, and you know, like maybe she's smarter than us. I don't know. Like it's crazy, but like she's so smart, and
She
she wants to be so independent,
Mhm.
and she doesn't
So-
listen worth shit though.
Was that is
Like-
that hard for you? Because Penelope is the complete opposite of that. Penelope will bend at will. Right? Penelope's very bendable, moldable. Where Aurora is stuck in her ways.
I love that about Aurora.
I know, but was that a hard change for you from Penelope?
Yeah, you know,
Because like Penelope, you can convince her to do pretty much anything.
and I don't think that's a good trait.
It's not a great trait.
It's not a great
It's
trait.
not a great trait. But like
she's
for,
getting
as a
better at it.
parent, it's a great trait.
Yeah, when you're wanting her to do what
Yeah.
you want to do. Yeah, it's great. But like, she's getting better at that.
Yes,
she's
she's
getting
starting.
a lot better.
She
at
is
that.
starting to.
Yeah, it was a little difficult, but with Aurora, right? What I see is like, you know, she's like me in the fact that she wants to be mischievous, right? She's got a mischievous streak there,
Yeah.
and like it's really fun. She'll look you in the eyes, like, "Hey, you ready?
Yeah,
You ready for this?" And you just know it's coming,
I am scared.
but you don't know how.
yeah,
And it could be in 10 seconds. It could be in 20 minutes.
could be in an hour.
It could be in an hour. But
Yeah,
she's
she's-
just looking at you and she's like, "Hey, it's coming. You ready?" And then when it happens quick.
So is she harder to parent, even though you spent more time with her?
So yeah, sometimes she's harder to parent, but like I gotta be a little more patient.
Yes.
Like I gotta when I sit back.
I feel like you've gotten more patient in the past 3 to 6 months. when we are first in Calgary, you are not patient with her at all. And like
a lot of that has to do with, hey, I'm home now a
Yeah.
lot more than I was before.
yes.
Right. So now, like,
So it's like a lot of kids.
yeah,
right?
when I come home before, sporadically once in a while,
It was
it'd
like
be
a vacation.
It was like a vacation,
Yeah.
right? So I come home and I'd be like, okay, how do I
make
fit
this the
in
fun?
here? How do I fit in here? This is my family, but how do I fit in here? Right? Like, how do I parent but also be the cool guy? I want them to like
How do I
me,
make
right?
this so fun?
How do I
Yeah.
make this fun? This is going to be a memorable time because it doesn't happen often
Mhm.
and it's not for very long, right? And now that
Yeah. I love that.
we're closer and
Settled,
I
yeah.
can be home a
Yeah.
lot more.
Yeah.
Right now, I still want to be that guy that's like, how do I make this a fun time home?
Yeah.
But like,
You have to be a dad too.
I gotta be a dad too, right? And so now it's like I
Mhm.
can't let her get away with everything, but like I want her to get away with everything, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I send mixed signals where I'm like, hey, go do this,
Mhm.
go do it, and then it's like, hey, don't do that,
Yeah.
right? And I gotta get away from that.
Who
but
do you think is more strict, me or you?
I think you're more strict.
I think so too.
You're way more strict. Like, and that might play a little bit into it too. It's like, hey, what would Casey do, right?
Yeah.
Like, but
I am.
I don't want to get yelled at for what she's doing later because I let her do it.
Penelope would never call me mean mommy, but Aurora's called me mean mommy.
My favorite thing that Aurora said is she slammed the door open and says, I want my dad to find a new wife.
Yeah, so that's
one of my-
Aurora's so vindictive.
Oh, yeah.
Like she
goes for blood.
Yeah. I've never mentioned what a wife is. Like I don't think that that's a topic of conversation, but Aurora does watch a lot of like older kid shows, like not 3-year-old Cocomelon. She'd rather watch Wednesday. So like we had a fight one day because she wouldn't put the proper shoes on to go out, I'm pretty sure it was. And so Aurora does this neat thing where she slams doors and yells at you through them and then sings a sad song about her life. So today
Nobody loves me.
yeah, that's exactly what it's like. My family hates me, like that.
Yeah.
And so she like opens the door and says, I want my dad to find a new wife. Slams. And that was it.
That cut you?
It cut me a little, yeah.
That cut you?
Like, why doesn't she want me as a
Your
mommy?
3-year-old cut you?
She cut me. Was she 3? Yeah, she had to be 3.
So what I think why her and I butt heads a lot is because she is so smart and she knows, right? She knows a lot of things. For a 3-year-old, she is highly intelligent.
Yeah, she's
Right?
very and street smart too.
Yeah, and street smart.
So
here's
here's a funny story about Aurora. How smart she is she wandered off at the beach. She was supposed to be with Penelope. Penelope came back. I said, "Where's your sister?" She said, "I don't know." And I was like, "The park's right there." I literally turn around. Aurora's not at the park. Over the PA system, I hear Casey Marie come to the front office, and I was like, "No way, no way. Marie is not our last name. Her name is Aurora Marie."
Yeah.
And so she thinks Marie is her full name. So like when she told them like what's her name, she said, "My name is Aurora Marie." So and my mom's name is Casey Marie. And so like they just called Casey Marie over the PA, and I went right there, and she told them already, like, my mom's phone number starts with blah blah blah. We live at number blah blah blah. Like she couldn't tell them exact number, but she's just 3. Like she's a new 3 still.
Yeah.
And she knew all of that information and like called me and like knew my name was Casey. Like in the same situation, our older daughter would be completely useless.
Yeah,
Yes,
she's smart.
She's a different smart. She would be useless in that situation, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? And so like for you, yes, I understand that would frustrate you because you want her to use it. And that's the same way my dad felt about me, right? Is like, why aren't you using yourself to your full potential?
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said,
So I think you have to really watch that, right?
Yeah, she's highly intelligent. She's super smart.
Yes.
But I forget that she's 3.
Yes.
Right?
And
Because
that's 3-year-old
of the
emotions.
things that she says, and she has 3-year-old emotions.
Yes.
But sometimes she has 20-year-old emotions.
Yeah.
Right? Which is mind blowing.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes we get slapped in the face with a 3-year-old. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God.
Do we really have a
Do
3-year-old?
we really have this 3-year-old? Because I thought
Yeah.
I was dealing with a teenager.
Yeah.
Right? So the teenager goes away, and out comes a 3-year-old, and it's like, fuck, right? And you never know what you're gonna get from her
Yeah,
or with her
never.
from like minute to minute.
Yes.
It could be that 14, 15, 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
That, you know, or it could be the 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, all right, what are we dealing with here today?
So that threw you for a major curveball.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, okay, how do I deal? I don't know how to deal with a teenager, right? But it's a lot of fun when she is that way. So cool, let's mold to that,
Yes.
right? And then, so she's that 13-year-old teenager.
She is a super cool 3-year-old though.
She is a super cool 3-year-old, and so she's
Like she sings Drake, she sings Post Malone,
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. She loves
knows
Wednesday.
A lot of the songs.
Yeah,
Like,
if you
word for word.
ASAP Rocky, Rihanna, she loves Rihanna.
Oh yeah.
She loves Michael Jackson. Like what a cool 3-year-old.
What a cool 3-year-old she is.
But she's a little bit of a bitch, to be honest. She is.
Can we say that?
I can say it.
I think I said that to you today. I whispered it in your ear.
Aurora?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably.
Because you're just like, man, what's that kid's issue? I'm like, she's a fucking bitch. Right? Like, oh my god.
She's scary though.
Like, I love her.
If she heard
I
us
love
say
her
that,
pieces.
I'm scared of her.
I could still rock her to sleep too.
Probably, yeah.
I've done it like a few months back.
Well, yeah. That one you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I still got it.
Yeah.
I still got it. Like and they're both getting better being alone with me too.
Yeah. So I think that's probably my fault though. Not my fault. I am the default parent. I understand that I'm the default parent, but at the same time, like my mental health was like, if you don't get a break, you're going to go insane.
Yeah.
Your body cannot take this anymore. You need to get a break. So like we talked about it, and you know we put hard lines in with our kids. They are not allowed to sleep in our bed. Aurora still sneaks in sometimes, but like, and now they had to put themselves to bed. Like we go in, we snuggle them, we give them kisses, but like I was laying in there for hours each night, and it was just not giving my brain, my body enough time to be away from them, and like to have that mental reset. So like I think we set some hard lines, and my brain has changed so much for the better, right? What were we talking about? See, I lost what we were talking about.
Yeah, no, you're the default parent.
Yeah, the default parent. So like for you to be alone with them was not that. It was very rare. But now you can be more.
Yeah.
Do things with them a little bit more, which is so good.
I like that. You know, you started this, and it seems to be working. You put them in there, you shut the door, you come back out.
Yeah.
Right, and they just like.
Sometimes they cry.
Sometimes they cry for a few minutes.
Sometimes want another kiss and a hug, and you go in and you do it. And, you know, I've put some really hard lines on parenting this past couple months because we do want to have another baby relatively soon. I knew that my body could not take laying in their bed, and my brain could not take laying in that bed for an hour or more each night while they fuck around and not fall asleep.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. So I really had to put some hard lines. It's the same thing as like I breastfed Aurora till she was 2.5 because I refused to put hard lines on. And finally we went to Europe to ACP in the summertime, and I just told her, oops, it's an owie, and then you were there to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like you mostly, what a great job you did with her, because I couldn't take it anymore. My body was like, stop it. If you touch me again, I will lose my mind. Right? Like I couldn't do it.
Well, for me also, like having them like do their own thing, and you know, it gives me more quality time with you too.
Yes,
right? We're
yes.
trying to make that third kid. You know?
Not just
We get
that.
to
Like
add
it's
that. You know,
it's-
you get to come in here and you know, we get to work on number 3.
not just
sooner.
but not just that. It's like watching a movie together.
Yeah.
It's hanging out
Which
together.
leads to making number 3.
Exactly. But
Netflix and chill.
PlayStation.
Right now we're podcasting and chill.
Right now with podcasting, yes. But like it's just that mental, like you have changed so much since September 2021, not 2012.
And I feel like it.
Oh,
too.
100%.
I feel it too.
Your patience has gotten exponentially better. Your patience was so thin before, and it's just getting a little bit thicker every time you come home.
Well, also like even if it was getting better, right before, right, and then it got worse because like being away during the pandemic and working
Oh, yeah,
all that
that
time
was-
away without coming home, and like we've talked about it, and I was afraid to tell you for a long time, like and maybe that's why I also thought maybe I was cracking, because my mental health took a huge hit,
Yes.
right? I know we talked about this today,
So
postpartum.
I was so
Right?
touch on that.
Yeah.
So every time, so both times we've had two babies. So, with Penelope, you go through the postpartum more than I do. You get really, really sad, like really, really low.
I don't know why.
It is wild to see, because like for me, when I have that baby, it immediately the whole time I'm pregnant, I rarely feel anxiety when I'm pregnant. I'm on such a high the whole time. I'm nervous, so like I won't sleep for like weeks on a time because I'm nervous about like every little thing, but I'm on such a high that I don't even feel it. And then usually around 6 months I kind of crash out and like finally get some sleep, and then I feel fine. But for you, for the first 3 months at least, you were
After. Okay.
For the pregnancy, you're on high, right? You're like, yeah, the baby, like you love feeling the baby move.
Oh, yeah.
That's your favorite thing. You stay up late at night, and like when I'm sleeping and you can feel the baby move, and you love that.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping, I have no idea what's going on. Like, I'm out. And so you're on such a high, and then the baby comes out, and it's that like first like 72 hours, and it's like the newborn and the smell and like the snuggles and like laying on your chest. And like with Aurora it lasted a bit longer because we were home. It was just us. Like my parents were there, but like it was just us, right?
Yeah.
We didn't see anybody else. It was just us and Penelope and Aurora. And then you crash and you get so low and you have no idea what's going on. And I know, so like from the first time to now when we had Aurora, like I knew what was going to happen because you did it last time and you had no idea that you went through it. Like I just don't think you understood what was going on with your body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think it was such a hard thing for you to be, because you're not normally a low person, right? So like when you get low and get that postpartum, I think it was just like you're running on adrenaline when I'm pregnant, and then you just drop it, right? Because you're like, oh my god, the baby's here.
I spent 9 months on an adrenaline kick.
Yeah.
And then when you come off that adrenaline kick, you crash.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like, it's like when that time where, I was at home, and it was a really good time home, and I was on days off, right? And it was like 2 weeks, right? I was home for. And when I went back to camp, I slept for 14 hours.
Oh yeah, and you blamed me and the children.
I
Saying
wasn't
we
really blaming
drained you.
I say it wasn't really blaming you. It was like, yeah, like I was pumped to be home. I was excited to be home.
Yes.
And it was an adrenaline rush.
It was like
home. The moment I got back to camp and I had a chance to relax and really think, I was done.
It was like Penelope's birthday, and like in Ontario, we have family there, so we do a lot of like things, right? We went to Wonderland. We went to Chudley's. We went to this apple farm, that apple farm, this pumpkin patch, that pumpkin patch. So many things we did. Penelope had a party. Like it was a lot, and we had a baby. Like she was 6 months
Yeah.
old, right? Yeah, and like so you finally just like crash. But that's something that's not talked about a lot. Is like men also go through that too.
Yeah.
I'm lucky where I don't go through the lows and like the baby blues and like the sadness. Mine is just anxiety, constant anxiety. It wasn't so bad with Aurora. Bad with Penelope because she was a preemie. But with Aurora, she was a little bit bigger. She was a little bit stronger.
I had to get used to that with Aurora when she was first born. Because
she
like
was
with
fucking
Penelope,
wild.
I still kind of do it when I pick her up and I put her down. I put her down so gently because like, I had,
Aurora. Yeah.
like that first year of Penelope, every time I touched her, she was a preemie. I put her down gently. I
Well,
pick her up in a certain way.
here's like
right?
a weird thing. Like, okay, when Penelope turned 1, she was like 14 pounds or something like
Yeah.
that. When Aurora was 3 months, she was 14 pounds. No,
Yeah.
4 months, she was 14 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like just like a general difference of our children.
Yeah.
That's
2 different kind of kids.
Aurora walked at 10 months. 10 months she was walking at just after Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it was like New Year's, she was starting to take steps towards us. Penelope didn't walk until 15 months. Like, and it
That had a
was,
lot to do with her eyes.
yes, but in general, she
Yeah.
still didn't walk though. She was 15 months.
Yeah.
So like the differences between our 2 children, like it must be for you not to parent them every single day, and you do parent them every day, right? When they have a bad day or a good day, you talk them through it. Like if I'm having a really bad day and you can talk to them, I hand the phone to you. I hand the phone to them because like you can talk to them about it. Rory sometimes will react to you. Pippa usually just gets all sulky about it.
Yeah. Well, even then, I learned how to navigate through that too, right? It's like, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? Talk to me, right?
Yes.
And like with Aurora, like it's like, hey, Aurora's really hard to navigate. She can't be bought.
No,
She can't be bought. You can't
No.
be like, hey, I'll give you
that
this.
she does not.
No, you can't buy her love. You cannot bribe her with
And
anything.
she chooses people specifically.
Yeah.
She is so weird about choosing people. Okay, she'll take, here's an example, Aunt P and Uncle Connor. Okay, Aunt P is there every day. Every day. Who does she like more?
And Connor.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
You have 2 coworkers, Ashton and Lindsay. Okay? Penelope loves Ashton. Loves. Aurora hates him. Hates even looking at the guy.
Yeah.
That guy can go. Now she's a little bit nicer. But his girlfriend loves her.
Yeah.
Is like, don't talk to her. That's my Lindsay. Right?
Yeah.
Loves certain people and just like will not even look at other people. Like, ugh.
Well, she doesn't even listen to me all the time. I'll be talking to her and telling her not to do something. She knows when she's not when she's doing something she's not supposed to be doing, and I'm trying to tell her no because she's like, I can't hear you. If I look at you, that means I've acknowledged you, and if I'm looking at you, that means I'm gonna get in trouble for it even more, right?
So
So
she's
she
my
just
help,
like, oh, I'm deaf, I'm blind, I can't see you. I'm over here doing this. What are you talking about?
So who's easier to parent for you?
Yeah, that's tough because Penelope this year, since she started school, has become more difficult.
So yes, but
And I don't, not difficult in a bad way.
hang on.
She's becoming a person.
For you, Penelope's more difficult right now. She's changed for you because you never accepted Penelope's deficiencies before.
Yeah.
She was in speech therapy for 2 years previous to this, and you didn't even acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Like, did you even know she was in it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's perfect to me, right?
Yeah.
And they're both perfect.
No.
Yes, they're both perfect to me. But like, it was hard to accept that. Like, hey, you know what? Like, yeah, she is. She's a little behind. I've always acknowledged she's been a little bit behind,
No.
right? But it's like she'll catch up. Don't worry, right? She'll catch up. I think she's lazy. There's a little bit of it in there that she's fucking with us. She's fucking with us.
I know you think she's fucking with us.
I think she's fucking with us.
Yeah, that's Richard's big thing is like, so like with Penelope, she does this thing where she like pretends like you're like count to 10, and she like doesn't do it, and then like later on she'll be like quiet, laying on the couch, and she'll just like count to 20, or just like.
She's fucking with us, man. Like you tell her, remember when it used to be, okay, count to 5, and you say 1, and she'd be like 2. You're like, no, you gotta start at 1, and she's like 2.
2. She never said 1.
Right? She never
We
said
thought
1.
she was afraid of 1.
Yeah, but she would do a little laugh, and she, if you watch her, she's got that little shit-eating grin on her face.
Like
she knows what she's doing.
Yeah,
she's like
you.
She knows what she's
That's
doing,
like you.
and it's funny. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's like you.
You're fucking with me, kid. I know you are.
So who's easier to parent though? Still Penelope.
I don't know. I don't know. Since she started school, she is.
Who's easier to parent? Our kids or your coworkers?
Oh, my coworkers.
Oh yeah.
My coworkers are easier.
Because you send them home.
I send them home.
You send them
But
home.
but like Penelope now, since she's out of school, has outside influences also
Yes.
teaching her things, right?
So I don't
Not
know.
just the teacher. She's learning from her classmates.
Yes.
Right?
Once she told us that Danielle Smith took away all the doctors. We're just like, what?
Open the border, Trudeau.
Yeah, from the time she's been very little, we've always maybe talked too much politics to her. Because
Around her.
around her. And she was very young, saying like Doug Ford opened the malls.
Yeah.
And Justin
We
Trudeau
didn't
opened the
say
border.
anything with the masks though. We always wore the masks.
Yeah.
And then she fought back at the zoo.
She
And that was a
fought back.
proud dad moment for me.
She,
That was like, that's my daughter.
So I have always, when COVID first started, I just didn't take her anywhere. I took her nowhere. And then when they had to start wearing masks when she turned 3 and she had to start wearing a mask, I was like, God. And so she wore it for visits and stuff like that. It was not till we moved here that they started questioning her, right? And in the zoo, she got questioned. And you were with her. I wasn't even with her. I don't know.
Yeah, you were. We were in the penguin
I was
exhibit.
up front though. I was
Okay.
gone. I already had Aurora. I was up front because
Okay.
Roy didn't need a mask.
Okay.
I know you told me what happened, but she just said no mask.
The lady was like, "Excuse me, can you put on your mask, little lady or little girl?" She said something like that, and Pippa just looks at her dead ass in the face, and she's like, "No." She's like, "Can we please wear it?" And she's like, "I'm tired of this. I don't want to wear this no more." And I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, right?" And then she's like, "Well, can you wear it while you're in here?" She's like, "I don't think so."
Did you wear it?
No.
She
She
didn't
did
wear
not
it.
wear it. She refused to put it on. And I'm like, hey. Then the lady looks at me. She's like, can you make her put the mask on? I'm like, I ain't making her do shit. I didn't say I ain't making her do shit, but I just said, hey, you can't do it. I can't do it. Sorry. Right? Like, this is where our kids were at.
Yeah.
This is
This
like-
is the tail end of like the zoo making us wear masks
It's
anyways.
the tail end of the COVID restrictions in Alberta.
We had to be vaccinated to get into the zoo, and then we had to wear a mask in certain parts of the zoo, and it was just like exhausting. I
It was
think.
like, if you gotta be vaccinated.
Anyways, we're not gonna
to
get into COVID.
Nah.
So the thing about Penelope, I know she's retaining so much information because today I said, I'm tired. And she said, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I was like, what? She's like, I heard you say it. I was like, oh my gosh.
So do you think that because Penelope was in the NICU, she had the feeding tube, right?
Yeah.
So she never had to work for that food.
I know
Yeah.
this is
my theory.
This is Richard's big theory
This is
on
my theory.
Penelope's behind.
She never had to work for her food. She had the tube running food to
Yes.
her all the time. So
Yes.
she's just like, I'm hungry. Food, right? So now, like I don't know if obviously she probably doesn't have memory of it, but like, you know,
So
if
you
you think
think she
about the
doesn't have to
time
work
after
anything?
that, right?
Yeah.
She didn't have to work for it either because she couldn't take the boob
No.
because I think the feeding tube ruined that for her.
Yeah.
So like she
She
didn't-
pumped. Yeah.
You pumped. You put the bottle in her mouth, and you had to like squeeze it sometimes to
Yeah.
get some out of it because she couldn't suck properly.
Yeah.
Because
But
of the feeding tube.
or is this because of her poor oral muscles?
Maybe it's
Because
because
she's a
of the-
preemie.
Maybe. So now, going forward, everything in her life is just like, if I don't work for it, I don't work for it. It's gonna happen one way or the other.
Yeah, I know this is your big theory
That's my
about this,
theory.
and I just think she's Penelope. I don't know.
She'll come on when she's ready.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is for her. It's on her terms.
So, do you think that watching your dad, in general, like watching your dad be a dad to,
Or lack thereof.
or lack thereof, but he was a dad to other children
He was dad to other people's kids.
that weren't related to us biologically?
But not now. Remember, he headbutted
Yeah,
one.
whatever.
He headbutted
That's-
one recently. So
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about hearsay because we don't want to get into trouble about that. But do you think that watching him do that and the way he treated daughters has made you more want to strive for anything but, because you've watched your sisters struggle with identity,
All three of them.
all three of them, because lack thereof dads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So has that made you like want to be a better father and husband?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially a husband.
Yeah.
But definitely a father. But if we ever have a boy,
Yeah.
if we ever have a son, which hey, if it happens, it happens. If we don't, it don't. If we ever have a son, the son will be as equal as the girls.
Yeah, so you were treated like you were a man and you didn't have to clean or do dishes. You had to do nothing
No, I literally just came in and lived there.
and live there, which is wild considering how much your sisters had to do, right?
Yeah,
Like, why wasn't the 18-year-old taking out the garbage instead of the 11-year-old? I'll never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so has that shaped you in a negative? So is it a negative way too? Has it shaped you in a negative way? Like, do you still carry like trauma about that?
Oh, probably.
Yeah. I don't really see it that often in you. I think so. Sometimes you say like things like, "My dad would love that about Aurora."
Oh,
He's never met our
he's never
youngest.
met Aurora. He's only met Penelope twice.
Maybe a couple more times than that.
Maybe. Well, her first birthday was the first time.
No, he met her.
Oh.
When she was a baby,
Yes.
when after he tried to kill himself.
Yeah. That's right.
It was like the craziest time.
Car.
Not just then, and then he came in on Christmas Eve,
Yes.
and then he also came in the day that everybody was crying,
Yes.
and he turned off the water.
Yes.
Yeah, because we were about to bake, and he was like, "No one's gonna bake in this house."
And he shut the water.
Shut the water off.
What the fuck, man?
And we were there with like the baby. We were there with Penelope. Like she also needed water to feed her.
You think all he wanted was acceptance and love in that moment, where it was like, but he had it.
We
all
were
he had to do
already giving it.
Yeah,
like
he had
you did not want to go and visit him, and my dad and me talked you into going to visit him, which was stupid on my part. I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was trying to be.
He blamed me, right? He said when I was putting the pills in my mouth, I saw you there egging me on to do it.
And to be fair, he'd never put the pills in his mouth.
You know, he never did.
He never did it. He just pretended to do it and called 911.
They said they looked at his Google search history and like he took just under the lethal amount. If
no, he didn't take any. I don't think he took just lithium or something.
Midol.
He did Midol. Yeah.
He did Midol because he was on his period.
So anyways, he never actually did it. He did say that. I remember that now.
Yeah.
And it made you feel real guilty.
He said that because
when you were going through postpartum stuff about Penelope.
Because as you said earlier, right, about how I thought suicide was the coward's way out. It was selfish.
Yes.
Now I look at it as it takes balls to do that. This is the most unselfish thing someone could do because, it's not cowardly at all to like end your own life. It takes someone
no
with
way out,
balls. Right? There's no way out in your mind, right? And so it takes a great deal. It's balls of steel, really. Right? It's not cowardly. It might be, you're only causing the people you love more hurt. Like you're just taking your pain that's going on up here and transferring it. Mm-hmm. All you're doing is that. But like, when you get to that point, it's like shit. Like I've never been there. Mm-hmm. I've suffered with my own mental health, like in a way, but never to the point where I thought this is so bad I gotta end it. Mm-hmm. Right? Like it got bad enough for me where I was just like, I need help. Mm-hmm. Like I need to talk to someone. Mm-hmm. Right? But not to the point where it's like, oh yeah, okay, this is over. Right? Like I have kids and I have a wife that I could never do that to. Yeah. Right? But that doesn't mean that it's selfish. No. It just means like, maybe you have reached out for help. Maybe your cries for help have gone unanswered. Yes. Right?
In his case, that's not what happened.
No. But yeah. And when he blamed me for that,
you felt guilty.
It was like, boom, what the hell did just happen there? What the hell? Like he was projecting. Mm-hmm. And
so we spent a lot of time with him then.
Yeah, and I lost a lot of respect for him shortly after that.
Yes.
Like my respect was wavering anyways. Like it was like it would come and go. But like any
So when
ounce of
he-
respect I had after he said that was just like once the gravity of it hit in and I realized what he was saying, I went from feeling guilt to like pissed.
So for me, it was when I turned a corner. For me, it was when he said to your sister she had to find a new place to live, and she was 17 years old. Like she was still
Yeah, she was still, and
In
at
high
this
school.
point, she, it wasn't like she was still, because she was still very much developing, but she still was at the point where, she was still trying to find her way because he had knocked her off that path so many times. But
Knocked
she
her out,
she
yeah.
start finding her path,
not.
and he just knocked her right off it. And then she's done an amazing job time and time again at finding that way, right?
Mhm.
And then just to be knocked off again, right? And I think the best thing she ever did was leave. It was like, you're right, I need to get the fuck out.
Yes.
And she got out, she left, she found her
She got
way.
stuff, yeah.
And you know what? One of the biggest things for me ever is when Trish said when she gets married, she wants me to walk her down the aisle.
Yeah.
Right? That's huge.
I think so. For us, Trish is our first baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
You would never say that to her, and if she's
She's
listening,
gonna hear it now.
if she's listening, she'll
She
know
does.
now.
She
But
doesn't
like
hear the
we've
podcast.
talked about it before. Trish is our first baby.
It was our child.
She was 6 years old when we first got together.
Yep.
She is 23 years old now.
Yep. Gross.
Gross is right. But she was our first baby. We took her places. We did stuff with her. She was a very integral part of my injection into the Frederick family.
Whoa, did you see
Or
my
is it
last
Frederick?
name?
Yeah, whatever.
Whoa.
It's whatever. I don't think it's that much of a secret. I'm pretty sure on Apple Podcasts it says Frederick. But
Sauce.
I'm pretty sure it says Frederick.
Nope.
Did you check?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Secrets out. Don't
Secrets
find
out.
me on Facebook.
he won't add you. But it's a very integral part of my existence into the family, right?
Yeah.
Is her. And she's been at so many of our life things, right?
Yeah, I guess checkpoints. You can call them
Yeah.
checkpoints, and
Right?
our milestones together. Yeah, our milestones together.
And she is the best aunt to our children.
Mm-hmm.
She is an amazing sister to both of us. She's our first child. Like really, like we've said that before. She was our little trial run.
Yeah.
Like, of course she's much older than our kids now, obviously, but the best aunt. Our kids could not ask for a better aunt.
Yeah.
They have a lot of amazing aunts though, of course.
Yeah.
But some we got through like other ways, right? Like Auntie Chris was a friend.
Yeah.
Aunt Jess was your dad's ex-wife's daughter.
Yeah.
And also a big part of their life, right? Like,
Also just had a baby.
also just had a baby.
First baby.
Not our first niece. She's our third niece.
Ugh.
Baby Araya is our third niece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. It's crazy. We talked about it earlier, but we kind of started like the.
So I have a younger sister who's 8 days younger than me. Yes, I know.
How did that happen?
So obviously, like my parents weren't together. We're not gonna get into this whole thing. So I have a younger sister. We found out a couple years ago. So she has I guess she's 14. She's 14. So I have a niece who's 4. We have a niece who's 14,
Yeah.
and then a 3-year-old, and then a 1-year-old nephew, and now we have a 1-month-old niece as
Yeah.
well, and then a nephew who's gonna be born soon. And so for you, this is that like.
And I've never met any of them.
Yes, that's true. I've met all of them, except your sister. This is your first blood sister.
Yeah.
That is going to have a baby this year.
Yeah, this will be my like full-blooded nephew.
I don't
think
know what the blood, but this is your sister who you grew up with is
Yeah.
having a baby.
Yeah, this is my real sister.
Yes.
Like my both
your
my parents.
stepsister,
Not my
yes.
stepsister,
Yeah.
not my half sister. This is my full-blooded sister
Having a baby.
having a
this
baby.
fall.
And like this will be, I'm not counting out or voiding like all the other nieces and nephews. I haven't met them yet, but like I still love them. I'm still excited to meet them.
Yes.
This will be my first like actual nephew.
Yeah. See, and for me, it's it's not I just my second nephew because I have
Yeah.
a nephew who I met when he was just a baby.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see like how I am with other people's kids.
Yes.
Right? I've always said like the thing about another man's kids, I could
Yes.
never raise another man's kid,
Yes.
right? And I this technically wouldn't be me raising
No,
someone
of
else's
course
kid,
not.
but I very much get to be a part of their life. And
Yeah, but that's like for you, like you always were kind of a step out of every kid's life, right? Like you never really wanted to participate in kid things, but now since you having your own kids, right? Our friend Chris has 2 daughters. She has other kids, but the 2 daughters live at home
Yeah.
still. They're young, and you're very much involved with them.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, getting involved with that was still a little weird, right?
Mhm.
When I first met Kita and Kat,
Mhm.
right? I didn't know what to say to them.
Yeah.
How do I have a conversation with someone else's kids, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. They're so young, right? So like, and then it was like probably like a couple of times into meeting them where
Yeah.
like Kat was like walking beside me and she starts joking around with me,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, what the fuck did you just say? and then we just started bantering.
Yeah.
And then Kita and I had
Yeah.
a race.
Yes.
And then that was the first or second time I met Kita. So
Yeah, I think Kita came a lot faster than
Kita, she's a little older.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
She's taller than me, so she kind of,
She
she's
commands
12.
power.
She commands power over me. I'm Napoleon to
Yeah.
her, but like I don't know who defeated Napoleon. I don't
I
even
have
know.
no idea.
Anyways, so
She's little girl.
she's taller than me. She commands the power and thinks that she can run me. So
But did being a father make that easier?
probably because
Do
I
you think
definitely would not have been
Being a
able
father made your relationship with your so you have a complicated relationship with your sisters,
Yeah.
except for Trish.
Yeah.
But do you think that it made your relationship with your sister stronger?
Yeah, absolutely. Because Chantel, she's fucked up a lot, and there was some tough love there with her, right?
Yes.
And like now I look at it as like,
But don't forget, the thing that I always remember with Chantel is that she was not raised by your dad.
absolutely,
She didn't see him that often.
yeah. But so being a dad has helped me realize that
It's not
that could be my kids.
Yeah.
And how I treat my kids when they fuck up is going to be a direct reflection of how they see themselves.
But for
Right.
me, it was like, do you want to show them a positive sibling relationship?
I do, for
right?
sure.
Because they're
Absolutely.
siblings.
Absolutely, I do. And, so Chantal and I, we get along at a distance. We talk
Yeah.
a little bit. I'd like to be closer to Chantal.
Yeah.
100%.
But I'm talking about Trish specifically because we are already close with Trish.
Yeah.
We've always been close with Trish. There's been, I'm sure, a few bumps up and down the road, but she was in a house with your dad too. So
Yeah.
it's hard. But do you think it's changed your relationship with her?
I think so.
I think
Definitely.
so. For me, I see it. I see you being more mentory to Trish rather than just being her brother razzing her all the time.
Yeah, well, she doesn't need that either.
No.
Right? She's had enough of men telling her, like, hey, you're fucking up.
Yes.
Hey, you're not doing this right. Hey, you're not doing this right. Instead of saying, hey, good job on doing that today.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she's never really had much of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, yeah, of course.
That's just never thought of it like that. It's so interesting, like for me to step back and watch you, be a brother, an uncle, a friend of the families to other people's kids, right?
Yeah.
I
owe a lot of that to you.
Oh, 100.
Like,
I'll take the brag because
you take it.
110%.
Take it, because honestly, like I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be,
Mm-hmm.
how I wanted to become that person, and you make me a better man,
Mm-hmm.
and my kids make me a better man,
100%.
and I didn't want any of that when I was younger.
No.
So to look back and be look at what I could have missed out on had I went forward with that thinking.
Yes. I think that having kids was the greatest decision we ever made. I think a lot of people are like, oh, do you wish you had to have them younger? Like our relationship was so fun Like we did so many cool things. We went so many cool places and did amazing things and lived in amazing cities and beautiful places and seen some the craziest things. Like we took our Jeep on the salt flats in Utah. Like we have done crazy things.
Yeah.
And for us, like having kids when we were a little bit older was perfect for us.
Yeah, we got to experience a lot.
Yeah, when we were young,
But
right?
also, like, not knowing that my mental health was, like, because the way I talked, the way I acted, things I did, things I said,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yes.
not knowing that mental health was behind that because of my upbringing,
Yes.
I think that could have been a little bit more tumultuous. Like, our relationship was good, but it was, like,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
there was a
There was
lot
ups
of
and downs.
a
Yeah.
lot of ups and downs, right? So, like, saying, like, hey, let's add a kid to that.
Oh, that would have been
Right.
a disaster.
That probably would have been really bad. So like
Yeah.
it happened when it happened at a good time where like, you know, I
You were
didn't
able to
know that
communicate.
I was like still had my mental health shit to deal with.
Mhm.
But like I was definitely older and could be like, hey, you know what? Like
Yes.
anything that is happening anywhere, I can sort of navigate that. And it happened, right? Like, you know, when I was away from home for so long, there was a time, and I think I told you about this. We were driving back from Saskatchewan. I was at ACP. This is like 2 summers ago. We're driving back from Saskatchewan, and like I'm just driving, and all of a sudden, like I choke up and want to cry.
Mhm.
And it's like, what the fuck is that,
I know, but
right?
I've always said this to you. You're supposed to cry.
Yeah,
Like you're supposed to be allowed to feel things. I think that point 2 years ago. So was Aurora was born then.
Yep.
So it was like during the pandemic still.
Yep.
I think that I know exactly why you would have been like that.
well, it was hard, right? I wasn't home a lot.
Yeah. You
Right?
were
I
not home.
didn't get to experience a lot of
We
things.
had a new baby.
I had a new baby. Had one that I didn't know how she was gonna handle being an older sister.
Mhm.
Still, right?
Yep.
And you know, there was a lot there. There's a lot going on, right? And being like, well, shit. It was kind of like a dark place, but not to the darkest point
No,
where
of
like
course
someone
not.
wants to end it all, right? It was
Yeah, of
dark
course.
where I was like, shit. Why do I feel this way?
But do you ever wish like you would just have reached out? Like you would have just like said something to anybody because you didn't say anything to anybody.
No.
Like don't you wish you would have had some like just said something to somebody?
So the mechanic and I at ACP Lane,
Yes.
we had a lot of deep conversations.
Oh
And
really?
mental health came up a lot. And he's like, man, why do you work away so much?
Mhm.
Right? And I was like, dude, I'm trying to compensate for my dad saying I'm not going to be a worker.
Yeah.
Trying to say I'm lazy.
Oh
and I'm
yeah.
trying to
I
be like,
forgot about that,
I'll
too.
show you. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that healthy? No. I work all the overtime I can because I'm trying to prove something.
Yeah.
I work as many hours as I do because I'm trying to prove something. Well, now I'm just trying to feed my family.
Mhm.
But like, if I get a day off, I'm not upset about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not constantly worried about, hey, if I slow down for 10 minutes, I'm going to lose my job, right? What are those people over there going to think? That guy's lazy? No, right? I don't care. If I slow down for 10 minutes, I need to slow down for 10 minutes. I need to take a breather. I need to step back. It's not gonna affect how my boss looks at me. My boss knows.
Yeah.
My boss, Rob, has said it a bunch. He's like, I told you years ago that was going to kill you,
Mhm.
right? And he was right. And he said to me, like last year, he said to me, it's like when I told him about my mental health struggles the two years prior to that, he's like, dude, I told you there was a reason why you acted the way you did. I told you there's a reason why you talked the way you did. There's a reason for everything about you, and it all stems down to your childhood trauma. I told you that.
Yeah.
And he told me that when I was 25 and didn't want to listen,
Mhm.
right? And now I'm telling that to my younger coworkers.
I
I'm
was just
telling
gonna
that.
say, do you see the
I'm
circle?
telling that to Ashton. I'm like, man, that's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Him and his girlfriend had a conversation the
Yeah.
other day where I'm like, man, that swagger,
Yes.
that confidence you try to exude,
Yes.
your cockiness. The people, he's like, yeah, people are just jealous. And I'm like, no, man. I'm like, the people that don't understand it,
Yeah.
they might see it as like, wow, that guy's got swagger.
So cool.
That guy's
What
so
a cool guy.
But for me
Yeah.
and for a few others here,
Yeah.
and including your own girlfriend, because we've had this conversation.
Mhm.
We know what it is.
Uh-huh.
It's your insecurities. He's like, you think I'm insecure? You think I'm insecure about my looks?
Yeah.
And right away she just like, it's not about your looks, man.
Yeah.
And
She's
I'm like,
pretty
dude,
smart.
it's about what's going on in your head, right? And he kind of looked off to the side like, shit, you got me. But like he wouldn't cave.
Never.
But he allowed the conversation to happen instead of shutting it down,
Yeah.
which was huge.
Yeah.
Right? He could have shut that down and could have like put that wall up, but he allowed the conversation to happen, which is a stepping stone.
Do you think like in blue collar that's important to have like the older and the younger, like kind of like those relationships? Do you like, especially for people who have not the greatest relationship with their families,
Absolutely.
or a difficult relationship with their families, or they just need a different perspective? Like, is that something that's like for you? I've seen that in every job you've ever had, whether you be the dad or the kid in a you know what I mean, like
Yep.
in a relationship. Is that something that's like does every blue collar worker experience something like that?
Absolutely, they
I
do.
was wondering.
Absolutely. If I don't know if you've seen the TikToks about it, but every blue collar man in every blue collar job, you got the old dog and the young dog sitting
Yeah.
together talking, right? And it's because that old guy, he's been there.
Yeah.
He's been in that situation. Some of those old dogs don't get out of that
Mhm.
mentality, but like you know, you see the oddest friends. You see like the 20-year-old hanging out with the 50-year-old,
Right.
right? You see,
No, you're not quite that dramatic, but like you're
I'll
not
be there
50.
one day.
I don't. Yeah, I guess.
I'll be there one day.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
I don't
wild,
work
yeah.
with any 50-year-olds either, right?
Yeah.
Like
You
maybe Rob is like
No, but TCR.
TCR. TCR. Yeah, a couple 50-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple 50-year-olds, right? And
Yeah.
look
I'm
at
just-
Braden hanging out with the 50-year-olds.
Yeah.
Look at Braden hanging out with the 50-year-olds and the 30-something-year-olds,
Hmm.
right? And yeah, you know, that's it. You know, but old guys and young guys in blue collar, especially when they work away, right? They're all they have, right?
So,
you make the most of that situation. We're not, and I
But-
say this all the time, we're sharing a drink called loneliness, but it's better than drinking alone.
But I disagree with that. Some of those people are your friends.
100%.
And you will say, no, they're not my friends. They're not my friends. They're my coworker. But like, Brayden is your friend. I'm
Brayden's my
sorry.
friend.
Drew is your friend. I'm
Drew's
sorry.
my friend.
Ashton's your friend. I'm
You
sorry.
want to call it that, but like you calling me out in here, like, you know what? Fuck it. Fine. We'll say Ashton is my friend. Why not?
Courtney's your friend.
Courtney is absolutely 100% my
You
friend.
have Rob's your friend. You have Shelby's your friend.
What do all those people have in common, though?
They have, I don't know.
For the exception of Ashton, we've all worked together for years.
No,
Right.
you have worked together with Ashton for like 3 years almost.
Yeah,
But-
2, for sure.
Okay, but
Yeah.
there's other people that I could name that I would call your friends.
But like, if you think about it, though, like the mainstays were friends, right?
Yes.
Then you get the interchangeable pieces. You know, let's think about a hockey team here for a second.
Oh no.
Austin Matthews, John Tavares,
Mitch
William
Marner.
Nylander, Mitch Marner.
I
right?
wouldn't
Those
call
four
I
are
wouldn't call
inseparable.
Willie.
No, I love Willie. I hate John. So those 4 are the core 4.
Yes.
The team builds around them.
Right.
The-
But
and
these
all those
these
players
are
around
two
them,
separate workplaces, so we're not.
all those parts around them leave all the time.
But there is people that you have worked with for years that you are not friends with.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
But I still
there
look
is.
at them as a brother or a sister.
Yes.
Because like
But
I've
they're
worked them for
still,
years and I have their back and they have mine.
yes.
But outside of our work day,
nothing.
don't even talk to me because there's bad blood there.
But going back to again with the kids, when you see them with your kids, does it change?
Fuck. I know
Yes.
what you're talking about. Son of a bitch. Yeah, sure, why not? You
Yes,
know,
it does.
apparently she asked about me the other day.
No, not just that. There's other people that I was thinking of.
Yeah,
That-
okay, other
That
people,
there's
yeah.
that there is
Bad blood.
bad blood, little weird things.
It's a personality
yeah,
conflict,
and of
right?
course you don't have to be
It's-
friends with anybody, but when you see them interacting with your kids, being sweet to your kids, it changes things, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely, I guess. Yeah, in a way.
There is certain coworkers of yours that I do not like. I have no interest, but I see them being nice to our kids liking them, and it's automatically like that's very nice. Like I appreciate them interacting with their kids because there is some of them that just ignore them. Not very many. There's just a couple, right?
Well, there's a reason why they ignore them, right? And I was told that, like, they want to say hi, they want to interact, they want to be nice,
Mhm.
but they're also missing their kids.
I
They're
get,
also
and I
missing
get
their
that,
family, and coming in to interact
but,
just makes them feel like they're missing
mhm.
out on their family, and it makes them miss them more,
Of course,
right? So they're just like, hey, you know what, man, I'm gonna sit. If they're gonna be around, hey, I'm happy they're here for you.
Yeah.
I love that you have your family here, and your kids are great, but like, I can't be in that situation.
100%. I get that, but at the same time, it's just for them, my kids. It's like a stab in the heart, right?
Is it a stab in the heart if they've never talked to them, or if they don't know any different?
Yeah, my
They have
kids.
so
And my
much
kids are saying
love
like,
shown
hi,
to
hi,
them.
hi, hi, hi,
But they have
and
so
they say
much love
nothing.
shown
Yeah,
to
it's
them.
kind of weird.
But they have so much
Yes.
love shown to them
They
all around.
Our children are very, very blessed in the love department. Penelope loves love.
Absolutely, that's her love language.
Penelope loves people.
And yeah, and if you talk back to her, that's her love language. She communication,
Mhm.
right? And she's very perceptive to, like, if you're a little annoyed and you say
Oh yeah.
anything to her with a little
Gosh.
bit of an off tone, she's like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And it's like, whoa, kid, it had nothing to do with you. I'm sorry if I made you feel that way.
Yes.
Right? And there's often times where she'll like get me up early in the morning and I gotta go get her protein milk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm coming, right? Like, I'm just tired, I'm dead. And she's just like, I'm sorry. And it's like,
Mhm.
it's not you, it's me.
Yeah. I'm tired.
I'm tired. Leave me alone.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think it's crazy what the relationships and like the friendships that you've built being a blue collar worker, like some of the things that you've never thought, like to Drew, picking up our kids and thinking Aurora is such a funny
yeah.
character, right?
He thinks she's savage.
She is
and
savage.
She is. But but he spent 2 minutes with her and was like, this fucking kid is savage.
Yeah.
I love this kid.
Yeah. And like, you know what I mean? Like, your coworkers at ACP are the most welcoming
Oh yeah.
for her, and she loves going there.
So TCR and ACP are two different kinds of blue collar,
Yes.
right? So TCR is oil field,
Yes.
and we love the fuck out of our families,
Mhm.
but we're all in the same situation together where we're
To be fair, our kids have never been to TCR.
Yeah.
And I'm
will.
sure that if they went there,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure this fall
100%.
when they go there and they meet your boss and
Terry will love them.
Paige
Terry will
and their
love
daughter and their son and like the other people, they will too. They just prefer ACP.
Yeah, Terry will absolutely
So
love
far,
them.
they might not. one day.
Braden will love them.
I think
Everyone
they'll like
will
Haley
love
because Haley works with kids, right? So
Yeah.
I think they'll like Haley.
So different types of blue collar though, right?
Yes.
Like oil field.
But it-
we know we're gonna be away for a certain amount of time. We're
Yeah.
gonna miss out on our families.
Yes.
It's cool if we can see them, but ACP, they're seasonal,
Hmm.
right? All those guys, most 99% of that crew don't work in the winter.
Yeah.
So they spend all year round with their kids. Oh,
Mhm.
they see their kids all winter, and then a lot of the time we get time or a chance, they see their kids, right? So, they're both very family oriented groups.
Yes.
But I think ACP is like more in touch with like, hey, a lot of them are younger. A lot of them have their kids. Where a lot of people at TCR, I know, don't have children, right? So at ACP, it's different. They're two very different blue collar groups,
Interesting.
right? A lot of those people,
But
this
it's
is their
still-
first and only blue collar job too, right?
But it's still the same dynamic, is what I'm saying, though. Like, there's always that old guy, young guy,
yeah. Oh yeah.
father.
Well, look at Courtney and I. Courtney is still older than me.
Is he?
Courtney's like 6 or 7 years older than me.
But do you consider more Courtney like an older brother, though?
I consider Courtney as an equal, as a friend,
okay.
as a good on that crew, up until 3 years ago, Courtney and I were always together. It was
Yes.
just him and I, right? And everyone still sees that. Everyone still sees Courtney and I as like, hey, if I'm standing somewhere else during the morning meeting, and if I'm standing over here and he's standing over there, like you and Courtney fighting or what? It's like, no, man. Courtney and I have learned that we can communicate and talk. We work very closely together,
Yes.
right? And we talk on the phone a lot,
Uh-huh.
right? So
Yeah,
like
you
we
guys
don't
call
need
each
to
other
be
a lot.
together all the time.
Yes.
And that's what Ashton and I are figuring out. I think what Ashton's figuring out right now is that I room with you. I don't need to drive with you. I
Uh-huh.
don't need to hang out with you all the time.
Mhm.
We room together. You know, in order for that to work out,
Yes.
we have to have alone time.
Yes.
We have to be apart.
Yes.
When I first started ACP, I roomed with Wilbur for like 2-3 seasons. I roomed with Wilbur.
Yeah.
Him and I, after like a couple of months, we roomed together for those couple of years only because we were familiar.
Mhm.
We did not talk because we worked together all day and then we roomed together and he wanted to talk work all night in the hotel room.
Mhm.
We did not talk anymore. There were times where he's like, I want to punch you in the face. And he's like, yeah, man. I'd say the same thing. I'm like, man, if I get you outside of this place, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. Right? And
You said that to
I've said that to
someone.
Wilbur, and Wilbur has said that to me. Right? But
Wild.
we know we'd never do it.
Mhm.
We were just, emotions ran high.
Mhm.
We were away from our family for a month or more at a time in the heat, in miserable conditions, right? Plus, we had to room together.
Mhm.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's why in the oil field, they have come to realize
Yes.
oil field companies are cheap as fuck. If rooming together could work, they would make you do it.
Mhm. It's just interesting. Yeah. So, do you want me to show the videos of the kids?
Absolutely.
So, I asked the kids some questions, right? Just a couple. So, I
Turn
don't.
the
I hope.
volume
Yeah.
and put it near the mic there.
So this is Penelope. I asked her questions about you.
Yeah.
So I probably did it at a bad time, but like I always think it's important for the kids to say nice things about you. And with Father's Day coming up, obviously this Sunday, today, if you're listening to this
Yeah,
today,
this will be today.
Father's Day, and I respect you as a father. I love you as a father. Does
Do
my
you
kids
like me as a father?
I love you as my kid's father, the greatest father. I molded you to be their father. Because let's be honest, I molded you to want kids. So I molded you to be their father.
So here's the interesting thing. Most women go after a man that's like their father, right?
Yeah, I don't
You
think I did
you
that.
molded me to be the opposite of that
Yes.
and the opposite of mine.
Yes.
Right? You wanted me somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, so I see you have traits of my dad's that I like.
Like the bald head or what?
No.
You think the bald head is sexy.
No.
Speaking of which, yes, I wear the hat in bed all the time.
No, like my dad has some great traits. You don't have like the handyman trait or anything like that I wish you would have got.
Hey, if they don't find you handy, at least they'll find you handsome.
Yeah, so I wanted certain things in a father for my kids.
Yeah.
And I kind of always seen it in you, even though it took a long time for you to be that way. It's coming. And so this is our 5-year-old Penelope.
Yeah.
What she's gonna say about you. I can't remember what she says in this video, so I hope it's nice.
What do you love when Daddy does with you? Toys. Which toys do you love him playing with? Dolls. Dolls. And what is your favorite food to eat with Daddy? Pizza.
Fuck.
That's awesome. Can you say Happy Father's Day? Happy Father's Day.
She wanted to go inside, but here's Aurora's.
Happy Father's Day. I miss you. Rory, what's your favorite thing to do with Daddy? Play. Play what? Play. Snakes and ladders. Really?
Snakes and ladders.
What do you love when Daddy does? He scares you? Yeah? Like that. Oh. It's a dinosaur costume. to watch on TV with Daddy? White. Snow White? Yeah. Can you say, I love you, Daddy? I love you, Daddy. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Can you wave? Bye-bye.
So that's what I
love that.
got the kids to try and do. We always try and make every, like, you know, special, right? Father's Day, birthdays.
Yeah.
I'm a big holiday person. My parents are not holiday people, and I'm a big holiday person.
There's a shower curtain for everything.
Everything. So we really try and make sure that you feel included in everything. Most holidays you come home for.
I try, yeah.
So, you know, we always try and do extra stuff. So, yeah, just a little video for
I
kids
really
to see.
appreciate that. I love the pizza thing.
Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah, they
Pizza
both.
and I are Pizza and I. Jesus, Penelope and I are our DNA, our blood type is pizza.
Penelope actually has the same blood type as me. Aurora and you have the same blood type though, which is wild because Aurora looks more like me.
Yeah, this is kind of weird.
Penelope's one of Penelope's first words was za.
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 Get the za.
Za. She loves za.
She loves the za.
Anything with za.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, is that it for
no.
Pillow Talk for Father's Day?
No. Okay. Let's end this the same way I end everyone. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore and why?
But isn't this about you though? Because this is
we've
about
already.
Father's.
But if they want to know who's on my Mount Rushmore, it's been talked about in a couple of episodes. I want to know who's on your Mount Rushmore.
But this isn't the Oilfield Wives episode.
No, we'll get to that.
So, on my Mount Rushmore. So what's on Rushmore? Like, is it
like 4 most influential people in American history, depending on who you're talking
American history?
Well, that's Mount Rushmore. That's who's on Mount Rushmore, right?
Okay.
So this is
in my
your
history.
Who is on your Mount Rushmore? Who inspires you to be a better person? Who do you want to? Who has been your inspiration? I guess.
So weird. Is it just cliche if I say Taylor Swift, or can I not say
it can
Taylor
be anyone
Swift?
you want. Living, dead, fiction, nonfiction.
Oh, I would say like I have FOMO because like, what if I choose 4 people and then I want 4 more? Can I change my answer?
Your answers are locked in.
They're locked in. What if I change them for the Oilfield Wives episode?
Then you can change them on the Oilfield Wives episode. My answers have changed over the course of some episodes. My dad wasn't on my Mount Rushmore, and then he was.
So, on mine would probably be both my grandmas.
Is that counting as one?
Can you do that?
Yeah. Why not? This is my podcast. I can say anything I want.
Both my grandmas, I would say, would be on there. We'll see if they count as one at the end.
Okay.
Both my grandmas. I would say Trish.
Yeah.
I would say Trish. She's been a very big part of my life. I would say because this wasn't an interview about me, so like it's
You were still a guest co-host.
yeah, it's just
I
about my
guess.
mother, right? It's about my motherhood experience through the eyes of your father, like
Yeah.
me being a mother through the eyes of you being a father. I would say you've obviously influenced me.
I hope so.
Yeah. You have obviously influenced me in my life.
You used to like the Montreal Canadiens.
I never liked the Montreal Canadiens. My
You
dad
wore-
just,
There's a picture of you wearing a hat.
I was at the thing. I was at the Rocket Richard thing. That was a game worn
I
jersey.
wouldn't have even gone.
Yeah, that's because you're weird.
No, that's pretty big.
I'd say my grandma's, and then I'd probably say you and Trish. And honestly, I do like a lot of Taylor Swift lyrics.
So, I think Taylor Swift tells a story every
Yes.
time she sings.
Yes.
And like the way you cling to that story
Yeah.
and the way you immerse yourself in her story.
So
And
with
I like
that,
watching you dance and sing along to her songs. It's kind of cool. You're in the car and you're just like,
Yes.
Karma was my boyfriend.
Yeah. Karma's
You know?
a god.
Karma is the
Breeze in my hair on the
breeze in
weekends.
the hair on the weekends.
Karma's a relaxing thought.
Yeah, it's a relaxing thought. Yeah.
Aren't you obvious that for you it's not?
You know what? Hi, it's me. I'm the problem.
Yeah, so for me, I think Taylor Swift ties into a lot of things. But like I don't think she's influenced my life per se.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I've been with the same man for a long time, so like
Oh, true.
not
True.
that that's a dig at Taylor Swift because she just hasn't found her person yet. But
Maybe she has with the 1985.
no, they broke up.
They broke up already?
They were just a thing. They were just a little friends
That's a
with.
song.
They were just a little friends with benefits. I think Matt
Ooh, that's a
Healy,
song.
and it's the
You were
1975. By the
only
way,
here for a moment in that year in 1975.
yeah, probably something like that.
Probably.
Little Easter egg. So I think Taylor Swift ties into my relationship with Trish. So I think
That is true.
So I think that
Damn.
is a integral part of it. So I think that
Damn.
I think that that's probably why I have a lot of like Taylor Swift stuff. Yeah, so let's go with my grandma's Trish and you. And actually, you know what? Your grandma too.
My Nana.
Nana, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. She's on mine.
She is on mine probably for different reasons. But when we first moved to Edmonton, and then when I saw her with Trish, I went alone to see her with Trish.
Yeah.
And I talked a lot to her about.
That's all she ever wanted. She wanted like 20 minutes alone with you.
Yeah. And we talked to her till like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah. She's fun to talk to.
She's great. And so my relationship with my grandma, so my dad's mom, was very complicated. We're not going to get into this whole thing, right?
No.
But like my relationship with my grandma was very complicated. So when my Nana died when I was little, so when I got to meet your Nana and we talked about like adult things, it like filled my bucket. And it also reassured me about our relationship and you as a father, right?
Okay.
Because like when you hear that from someone, like they're going to be such a good dad, they just need to grow up a little bit more, they need to have more patience. Like I think your Nana would love to see you as a dad to these 2 girls.
Yeah.
And one day she will.
Yeah.
Go to Ontario together.
Yeah.
She's still alive.
She's still alive. She's still kicking it.
Yeah.
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 But that's it. That's what my.
That's it?
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
it? That's all? Anything else you want to
Yes.
add in?
No.
Nothing?
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
I'm proud of the father you have become, and I can't wait to see the father you will become. And we
I'm
have
excited. 3.
children, 3 kids, maybe 4, and as our children grow.
You know, it feels like it's taking forever to get there.
No, it does not.
It does. It really does. Like, I look at Pippa, I'm like, I can't believe you're only 5 kids.
She's gonna be 6
I know.
in October.
I know. It's insane.
Yeah.
And Aurora, I can't believe she's only 3.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That one's just like, time is going so slow, right?
Yes.
But yeah. Yeah, I know. It's
But
been
happy
fun.
Father's Day.
Thank you. Want to make out?
Maybe later off the camera.
How
don't-
about we cue the music and we make out while the music's going?
No,
No?
in your dreams.
No?
No,
Why not?
because I don't want to.
How about just a kiss then? Come on now.
That's a good kiss.
Come on now.
This is for YouTube.
Yeah, hey, this is our introduction into the
OnlyFans.
spicy links.
OnlyFans. I don't think so.
Hey, the guys on Instagram have been asking for this.
For yours. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
They've been asking for this.
Yeah, I don't think so though. But you're a good daddy.
Thanks, I appreciate it. And am I your daddy?
I have a dad.
Oh, you're not making it weird then.
Do I have a daddy?
I'm your daddy.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Daddy.
Get out of here now.
All right. You guys stay frosty, and thanks for coming to the 2.5 hour long Father's Day spectacular
episode.
bonus episode thing. Stay frosty. Yeah. Ooh, scratch my back right here. Oh. Yeah. All right. End it. End it.